Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
Let's road trip to Detroit.
Detroit basketball.
The Browns game has been moved to the Motor City.
Yes.
It's kind of like a home game for us.
I heard it was very cheap tickets.
Very discounted tickets. That's like a home game for the Browns.
But the problem is I called the MGM.
No?
I was thinking I called the MGM hotel yesterday. I mean, I got online.
Check it
I
out.
live in a nice room.
Right.
$175. I go up on Saturday, go to the game on Sunday.
Yeah.
Come back Sunday night. Sure.
Right.
MGM said be $7.99 for a night.
Come on,
They're
now.
gouging now.
Come on now.
$7.99.
Wow.
That's that Josh
See, here's
Allen
the problem,
bump.
though. Clevelanders are savvy enough. They're not gonna. They don't have to go and stay in Detroit.
Right.
Get a room in Toledo.
Right.
If they want, or
Yeah.
just drive all the way back.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a 3-hour drive.
Yeah.
Like,
There are going to be so many hotels.
It's not even 3.
No.
It's like 240.
Be a lot
It's
of
nothing.
full hotels in Ann Arbor this weekend, probably somewhere around there. You know,
Exactly.
Like some midway point.
Detroit thinking, wow, people finally want to come to our city. Let's jack up the rates.
I said, what? $7.99?
Can't be doing that.
Bull, good morning to you.
Guys, that was some lame clapping to start the show, by the way.
Sorry about that,
Really
man.
weak.
Sorry we didn't meet your standard.
That was inappropriate. Mike, you look
Clap
like you're ready
away.
for the next season of Survivor.
Show us what it should have looked like.
Mike, Bull's making fun of my outfit because I'm wearing do-rag, but he just doesn't understand that I'm only doing this because I'm so stoked. Because, I don't know if you guys knew about this, Bull, I did this just for you.
Let me see it.
But we got a big game this weekend, guys. We got a big game this weekend.
Oh, wow.
He's back in the saddle, everybody. Baker Mayfield.
Who do they
starting.
play
He
this
is.
weekend? Who do
They're
they play?
playing Baltimore in Baltimore. They are only 2 games back, Bull, in their division. They could turn this around. These guys
They
could go to the
could.
playoffs. They have the same record that we do, off the leash. I bought it. It's a knockoff version, not the original, obviously. It
Oh,
doesn't
come
fit
on
pretty
now.
well. It's from China. But at the same time, Baker, baby.
Well, that way
They're
he
a
doesn't get paid.
13-point underdog in that game, by the way.
How much was it, $1?
Hey, 6 cents in the discount bin.
let me tell y'all, man. You know, see, there's levels to this. I always bring it up, man. See, I love the fact that when Mike wears a bandana,
Yeah.
that's just maybe he went to sweat over his eyes. If I wear the bandana, I got to talk to OG over here. Now, listen, I hope you're not affiliated.
Right.
You're doing something to the
No
youth.
one thinks
Don't
I'm in a
you do
gang.
it.
I'm a Baker bro. I'm clearly a Baker bro.
Look, you come here to bet.
Look. Hey,
Don't do it.
Hey, let me talk.
Don't do it, G-Bush.
Hey, you got a flat when you start getting
Look,
flat.
you've been co-opted, huh?
Yeah, look,
You've been co-opted, huh?
They don't even- hell no, they don't let me wear visors, bandanas, hats, do-rags, none of that. My people's, all my elders was in the civil rights. They be like, you're not going to start anything here. What are we doing?
It's like West 6th Street. I can wear this in there, but you can't wear one in. That's
Nah,
the way
I
it
can't.
works.
That's the way
I
it
didn't make the
works.
rules.
I hope we get to my man today,
Who's that?
Ndamukong Suh.
Talk that.
No, that's going to be disgusting.
Hold
It's
on.
going to be our overtime segment today.
Ooh, how does that not make the big rundown?
'Cause
How?
we need people to become members for $1.99 a month. You can be a starters tier member. $4.99 a month. You could be a coaches tier member and listen to this exclusive content. We got into the Kyrie stuff last week. That was some deep stuff with Bull and Brad. Great conversation. We're gonna get into Ndamukong Suh.
You want that Sioux heat? You better become a member.
Eagles. Yeah.
I see the Eagles didn't have a problem.
None at all. None.
He's a front runner, though, too.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, well.
at some point, we waited so long, he's like, I ain't going to Cleveland.
Most people are.
Yeah. Well, look, if you're at his stage in the career,
Yeah, you don't have
you're
to.
chasing a ring.
Right.
You're
Would you
chasing
blame
a ring.
him?
No, I don't blame him at all.
I'm
And I
not.
figured he would wait half the season
To see what was
because
going on.
that's all he's got left in him at this
Yeah,
point.
then I saw
he
Tyvis-
can go hard, and he can be a difference maker in Philadelphia.
Tyvis made some comments yesterday about professional sports and athletes in Cleveland. We're going to talk about that today. Yes,
How about
sir.
free agents? Now, that was in the text. text.
That was a
So
scintillating
nobody-
text conversation.
Yes, it
and he's
was.
right.
Yeah, it was.
talk
But
about
I learned a lot.
he asserted that, and
it's-
he's talked to.
And it's absolutely true.
It is true.
Exactly.
I've talked to athletes as
It's
well.
absolutely true.
And
People
there's
don't wanna
just
come
a
here.
stigma. They don't want to be here.
Yeah, free agents, big name free agents.
name free
don't want to
agents.
come here. And you got to pay them more than you'd like to if you get a, if you
I don't
do
even
get
think, Mike, I don't think it's pay.
Nah.
No,
They
if
just
all
don't-
things were equal, they're not going to choose
But
Cleveland.
don't y'all feel like it was changing though?
It was.
I
For
feel
a
it
minute
was
with LeBron?
when they got Odell Beckham Jr. We just thought that was just, even though it was a trade.
Yeah.
We said, well, look, he didn't have a choice, but we took it anyway. We start seeing names stack up a little bit.
So the problem is what happens is, okay, they break it up. OBJ comes here, and then ultimately something bad happens to
Yeah.
those people,
Yep.
right? And then they leave here.
Yeah,
and the rest
OBJ
of the-
didn't have a good experience.
And then and the rest of the people leave here, and then the rest of the people that watch it say, I'm not going over there. It's the same old thing going over here.
Even the way
right?
Jarvis Landry left a little bit. Like, I loved him for the first, 3 years.
Yeah.
But it just got to the last one where it was like, I even see people be like, oh, we got to get rid of Jarvis. And I was just like, dang, like, even him?
Don't
Like,
you think though it can turn around quickly in the same way that you said it was after that playoff appearance, after we won that playoff game, and Odell's willing to come here, other people are. I think that memory is short, and if we won games and if we won consistently, see, we just haven't had that much of an opportunity to test this theory because we don't win
No, you have to have-
consistently.
you have to have a magnet to circumvent the perception that's out here.
right.
It's why people go to Jackson State because Deion Sanders is there.
Only reason.
He's rewriting the perception.
only reason.
Right. That's
Yeah.
why.
I
Right?
think
so
the
you,
test
until you
case-
get that.
Right.
It's Watson.
The test case in this experience, Watson was so much more money than anybody else.
yes.
But
But-
guaranteed tip.
But if he comes back and does well, people will say, oh, I'll go there now because he'll do that.
If they're winning. But
Yeah.
the test case here is Green Bay. Green Bay has been successful in our lifetime.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know where the free eight are they lining up to go there. I remember one time Reggie White
No.
said that
No.
God
No,
told him to go
that's why
there.
Aaron Rodgers is so upset. He wants them to spend more money in free agency,
But
and
it's
Green Bay
Green Bay.
continues to say, we know free agents aren't going to come here. We're not going to pay the premium
No.
we need to get them there. We're going to go through the draft.
Exactly. And I remember there was a piece, I would say it was probably 10 to 15 years ago now, that ESPN, the magazine, did this big expose about how blacks didn't want to go there because nobody could cut their hair.
Right,
this
right,
is a
right.
true story. They had to go to Milwaukee or Chicago
Yeah,
to get
that's
the
crazy.
haircuts they wanted
They can't-
because it's Green Bay.
That's crazy.
And so, now, I'm not saying Cleveland's Green Bay. It certainly is
No, no,
not.
no.
But it's that same sort of cold weather, why would I want to be there mentality. And it's tough.
And I've told you guys before, I mean, Charles Oakley and I used to be arguing on the Bulls' private plane with the other Bull players about going to Cleveland, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had a perception of what Cleveland was, and we didn't like it at all, right? And so we going to straighten you out one by one, from Jordan on down, about this place, right? And it's because the perception they have of it, it's the stuff you see on TV and the media. Cleveland, you look at this history, sports
Our
here.
river being on fire
It's
didn't
all
help.
bad.
No.
I'm not going over there, right? Every time I
And
come
people
here,
don't
the sky is. You come here in the wintertime, very rarely sunshine. It's gloomy.
It's unpleasant.
And guys, people don't come to Cleveland on vacation, right? Like, it's not a place.
No,
It's not a vacation destination. It's not a city that a lot of outsiders move to. And so people don't know it. I mean, before I moved to Cleveland, I'd never been here. When I got my job in Cleveland in 2011, and when I first got offered a job in Cleveland, my first thought was Cleveland, like, because you hear things and whatever. And then when I actually spoke to people who had actually lived here, I had a totally different impression of the place because everybody I spoke to, that I happen to know 3 or 4 people that had either were from here or lived here, they were like, oh yeah, Cleveland's great. It's great. And now I know from living here a decade plus that it is great. But if you've never lived here, the perception is it's not a great place, and it's not just the weather. Yeah, the weather sucks, but the weather sucks in Chicago, and people want to be in Chicago. And I'm not saying Cleveland doesn't have as many things to do as Chicago, but anybody that's lived here for any period of time will realize it's a great place to live for a lot of reasons. There may be less exciting things to do overall than some bigger cities, but cost of living's better, commuting's better. There's a lot of positive things about Cleveland, but if you don't know it and if you've never been here, then you're going to think bad things about it.
That's true. All right, let's tease what's coming up on today's show. DeQuell Jackson's going to be here. We're doing No Fence Riders. That's always fun.
Yep.
We're also doing pre-written headlines. And I don't know what the gist of Know Your Enemy is, but we've got a new Mike Polk segment called Know Your Enemy.
It's going to fill you in a little bit about Buffalo, why you should hate them.
Is it going to be fun?
I don't know. It'll be all right.
Usually is.
It's all right.
You usually bring the heat on these things.
Yeah, we'll see.
Why we should hate Buffalo? No, you're right.
Why you should hate Buffalo?
Okay, very good. I'm looking forward to pre-written headlines. That should be interesting. Obviously, the big story is the game is no longer going to be played in Buffalo. It's going to be in Detroit. Bull, you had some pretty strong thoughts on this move and the reaction to it on the morning call this morning, so I'll let you start.
Thank you, Jake.
What do you think about it?
Well, I first of all, I'm always annoyed when, like, this started with the Yankees, Guardians ran out. Fans are so paranoid. Like, if we want people to like Cleveland more, we can't be paranoid that everything is an attack at Cleveland. The NFL is not cheating for Cleveland to move this game to Detroit. I understand the line went up. This is an all-time snowstorm, okay? I don't even know if the Bills are going to be able to play in this game because, I mean, they will probably, but they're going to have a hard time. I don't know why they haven't left Buffalo already. But, like, fans getting all worked up, this is unfair. Like, people's lives are going to be at line. They're going to lose power. Like, this is an emergency in Buffalo. They can't be worried about playing a football game there when all hands on deck in terms of city workers are going to have to be trying to, get rid of snow and protect people and save people in the city. They can't be worrying about a football game. So for fans to make this about picking on the Browns is really ignorant and stupid. It's just ridiculous.
The thing I don't get about it, Bull, is, and I mentioned this already, but it essentially becomes an easier home game for the Browns.
Exactly.
Than for the Bills. So I don't know why anyone would think that the NFL's taking a shot at Cleveland by doing Buffalo a favor and stealing a game that would have the Bills Mafia home crowd and putting it in Detroit, where I don't know what the crowd's going to be. I'm fascinated to see when I turn on the TV which fan base is bigger, but I would guess it would be Cleveland just because it's a 3-hour drive for us, and it's going to be tough for folks to get out of Buffalo.
Right.
Yeah, but they have a winning. They have a fervid fan base, as you know.
They do.
I mean,
but ours
I just don't
pretty
feel
damn good too.
It is damn good, but we're also a little behind this season, and they are not. They still have a lot more hope than we do.
Facts.
That's another thing, and I just don't see that a fan base that is sort of celebrated for its willingness to throw each other through tables off of the tops of cars is going to let a couple of feet of snow stop them from driving through those terrible conditions to Detroit. So I don't know how much safer it's going to be for the fans because they're all going to be leaving and probably driving further than they would have otherwise to go and see their football team, many of them.
So I say this, that if I can take the temperature of the people I've just talked to in the last 24 hours, there are a lot of people in Cleveland trying to figure out how to get to Detroit here, right? Because one, they figure out that it's close.
Sure.
They figure out that there's an understanding or hope that
it's cheaper too.
Tickets are going to be cheaper. To your point earlier, Jay, I don't have to go down and stay overnight. I can jump up and jump back in the same day, no problem. And I'm going to be in a climate-controlled facility. I'm not going to be sitting outside here, right? Then if I want to go down and do some gambling, do some other things, I can do that too, and then get back and be on work on Monday.
Shout out to Greek Town.
Right. And so this is the story, right? But I would just tell you, if you're living in Buffalo, as a person who, when a major snowstorm comes down, you ain't getting out of Buffalo. Nobody leaving out there.
It'll be tough.
It'll be tough. So
if they indeed get to
if
6
the
feet,
Browns
they
fans
might.
are nationwide as we know they are, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a decent Browns crowd in that stadium tomorrow.
I would think.
I mean, on Sunday.
I would think. I mean, I could be surprised, but I would think.
Here's two things. Here's what they could do to remedy all this moving around. And it's just crazy that we live in 2022, and these dudes is richer than the 12 disciples. These dudes got money. Like, why would you, and they should have learned from the COVID thing, why do they not have a facility? Every NFL team, if you want a team, has to have a NFL campus, so to speak, where it is a 5-star hotel that accommodates players and their families in the case of any inclement weather or in the case of pandemics. They just you bring your people. Your people say, I need to go home. I have wife and kids. No. We got living facilities in here where we got chefs. We got the whole gambit. Your kids come in. Your wife comes in if they want to be at the game, and you put them up in this facility. And in an off season, you could turn that into a 5-star hotel where it's owned by the team. I'm sure you could do some things, and a lot of season ticket holders would want to go there. I just don't understand why cold weather teams ever in their lives don't have retractable roofs. If you're Buffalo, I would tell them
money.
They got money. They get billions. millions.
But don't you know the deal? The owners want the taxpayers to pay. for it.
Yeah, that's our problem.
But
man.
boy,
when
Do you realize
taxpayers-
Buffalo's new stadium is a $1.4 billion stadium?
No
and
roof.
$850 million of that is coming from taxpayers.
and no roof.
And no roof.
Come
Awful.
on, bro. But yet and still, you mad because you losing revenue because we got to move it to Detroit.
Well, so here, be clear. Some people, to Jay's point, some of it is money because that happened at Brown Stadium when they were first building Brown Stadium back here, right? The community never really had a debate.
Right.
Do we want the roof or don't we, right? They saw the price tag and we'll just, we'll
It's like when you're shopping for a car.
on the roof.
Do
But
you
some-
need the leather heated seats?
some-
well,
right.
they come with the price.
I sure do.
Some places, but you gotta have a debate. Some places want to have it outside. I like Minnesota was in the dome, like Minnesota the Golden Gophers were playing inside the Metrodome back in the day, right? Well, when they built their new stadium, they don't want to be in the dome. They want to be outside.
Come play in
Right?
our elements.
They want the outside. It's like Green Bay. They want to be outside. Right?
give
And
them that.
Now, I don't want to be outside, but
Right, and in truth, we're maybe overreacting a bit.
Big time.
We have outside stadiums in cold weather cities. This is a very rare occurrence.
yes.
I mean, it doesn't happen very often. Now, if it happened 3 times a year or even once a year, then you might want to consider throwing a lid on it and just paying the extra price.
I wouldn't move
It's
the
the
game.
first time an NFL game's been moved since 2014.
I wouldn't move
It's the
the
first time
thing.
in 8 years.
And prior to that, I don't know when it happened before that.
I think 2005.
It may have been for weather. I do remember games being moved because of hurricanes, if
Yes.
I'm not
That-
mistaken.
that's different.
That's
for,
a different
for
story.
weather-specific
Right.
related issues,
For snow games.
or
Snow
yeah.
games, right.
I
You mean
would. I would-
snow.
I-
Hurricane is weather.
No, I know
Weather
it is.
too.
But I think right now the discussion is more.
You're just talking about snowstorms. It's
Yeah.
the first time since 8 years.
Hurricanes to me are natural disasters.
Yeah.
So it's a little different. For me, I wouldn't move none of this. I wouldn't move this. If your
They
fans
have
get-
to, G.
If the
This is
fans,
an emergency in the city. They
If the
can't
fan- if
be
the
dealing
fans-
with a football game.
I mean, these dudes, you do know they played in a pandemic. You can't tell me they ain't a national emergency.
G, it's too dangerous.
well,
to clean up.
I mean,
Who's
COVID,
cleaning up the stadium?
They were playing football games with COVID.
No, I know, but
So-
the point that
his
Bull's
point
making,
is
and
right.
it's a very valid point.
It's a safety issue.
You could have 500 workers in
Right.
that stadium
It's a safety
with
issue.
snow blowers trying to get the seats ready and clear the field.
Yeah.
You can do that with a foot of snow.
Right.
You might be able to do that with
They
18 inches of
They
snow.
talk 4 to 6 feet of snow.
But if you get 4 to 6 feet of snow, there's nowhere for that snow to go.
Right.
Not just that, if all those, if it keeps snowing, you got that kind of depth around you. You got emergencies going on in there. People have a heart
Yeah,
attack.
it does
the
seem a
ambulance
bit-
can't get in.
a bit
there's-
misguided.
So they got to take all that stuff into consideration.
And-
I
and
get
the-
that, and I do know. I want to hear this. And Adam, I want you to tell me this. I don't think that it's a conspiracy. I don't that the Browns. I think they're doing this for what they consider to be sensible reasons.
Right.
But it is at a football disadvantage to the Browns in a way, isn't it, Adam?
I mean, Vegas. Now, I agree with Jay that I think it's mixed because I think I think it will be a home field advantage for the Browns. At the very least, it'll be neutral, which it would not have been in Buffalo.
Right.
However, it is a benefit. The Bills, even though the Browns' run defense is terrible and most teams have tried to run it, the Bills' identity is all about throwing the ball, and I'm not sure they're. And Josh Allen with his injury, it's probably an advantage for him, and Vegas thinks it is an advantage. Because the line went up 1.5 or 2 points in favor of the Bills, and the over/under went up 8 points in this game.
Which you can
to
totally
the game
understand.
I thought that was
Track.
one of our best, one of our best things that we had going for us was the fact that this
Yeah.
was going to be just an absolute disaster environmentally.
Jim
I
Bush
felt
said it
like
yesterday, and I agreed with you. They would lose if they played this game on the face of the moon. They would lose if they played this game in Buffalo. They would lose if they played this game in Detroit.
Antarctica,
I think the
don't
gap
matter.
between the Bills
Yeah.
and the Browns is significant.
Yes.
It would take an effort like the Browns put forth against Cincinnati.
Yes.
And it would take an effort by the Bills that, and when you look at their losses, they haven't had a collapse, really.
Right.
They got. I thought they got out schemed by Miami.
Yeah.
They controlled the ball. They controlled the game. They did everything they could, but they just came up on the wrong side.
But based on our teams, if you had your choice between having our run-based team with our backup quarterback
Clearly you're
running
right.
in slop,
Clearly you're
or
right.
having
Yes.
him, or having Josh Allen, a dinged-up quarterback who loves to throw and can throw very
Yes.
well, trying to throw
Sure.
in a blizzard, I would prefer to be playing in terrible weather.
And that's the smart play, and that's why the gap and the point spread went up.
I want to go back to I want to go back to what G said on the snow removal. Why they don't do it, G? In any municipality when you get above a certain amount of snow, it's going to come to a stop. It's like when we got this 20 inches last year.
Right.
And I don't care where you were. There's nowhere to move it to. I mean, everybody's going to be in lockdown. I'm just going to try to carve you a 2-lane road to get out of here.
Yeah.
But it's going to be some days here. Now, when you talk about 4 to 6 feet, that thing. And for those who don't know, live in Buffalo, Buffalo's like at the end of the wind tunnel. So if you got lake effect snow coming off Lake Erie, that's where it's going to go.
Yeah.
That wind swirl across Lake Erie is going to head straight to Buffalo. And when Buffalo gets hit, I had to learn this. Buffalo's not going to get, the whole city's not going to get hit. It's going to be a swath of Buffalo that gets buried.
So this is for Bull. This is for Bull. See how I'm going to show you something right here. This is how you can see. And you guys were right. You guys thought about that a little more. You guys are right. They probably should postpone the game.
Oh, I see.
You see how that works?
He's showing how he learned from listening. That's what he was showing you, Bull.
Yeah, there you go.
Did
Yeah,
you see
you
that?
were right, Bull. Bad job out of me.
Send that tape to your girl.
I wish he was on camera when he said it, though.
Send that tape
Instead
to your
of
girl
this.
in D.C.
Yeah, let me sit
Maybe
right.
she can learn something.
You know what? You guys are right. My better judgment.
You
That's
hear
why you
this?
got good people around you.
America, when you listen and you're willing to accept.
Love it.
That's wonderful, G. Thank you for
well
saying
done.
that. You
Good
saved
job
some
by
lives
you.
in Buffalo, too.
Let's go
I agree.
to No Fence Riders because we've got a lot of questions today, don't we?
It is time. We have 6 questions. DeQuell's going to hop in when he's ready.
All right, great.
And we only have 1 unanimous this time. Now, granted, for the people out there, we asked these questions on Wednesday before we knew the game was getting moved, so some of the answers may
Everything's
change.
changed.
But either way, let's get into it. Question number 1. For the first time this season, will the Browns force multiple turnovers in a game against the Bills? This was a split 3-3 choice. Bull, you're up first.
I think I said they would, right? Or
You did say yes. I guess you don't remember what you said. So we'll show the answer, then we'll let Bull go.
Yeah, there you go.
Bull, Polk, and Tyvis said yes. Brad, JG said no.
Listen, I get it. G and J, I get how you guys feel about the Browns. And in reality, yes, the Bills should kick the Browns' ass. But as we all know, in the NFL, this is not college football where, for sure Maryland won't beat Ohio State. In the NFL, every week there's one game where a team that you can't imagine winning wins. I'm not saying the Browns are going to win. I think the game's actually going to be a good game and be close, but I think the Bills will win. But I think the Browns could cover the spread. But Josh Allen lately has been extremely turnover prone. And unlike most teams against the Browns, I don't think the Bills will commit to running the ball. And so I think Josh Allen, who's thrown, 5-6 picks in the last 3 games, will make some mistakes in this game. I think, he's not 100%. He's not playing quite as well. And I think he'll make some mistakes, and the Browns will do what they normally don't and get some turnovers.
Yeah, this one was tough for me because history this year tells me the Browns just don't force turnovers. They don't, period. They haven't all year. It's been their mantra. But to Bull's point, and I don't ever remember Josh Allen being this interception prone, and it might be because of the injury. We saw it last year with Baker. His mind knows that his arm can typically make that throw, but he can't because he has limitations. And I wonder if that's why we're seeing interceptions from Josh Allen. His mind knows that when his arm is right, he can put the ball where he needs to, but his arm isn't right, and his mind hasn't caught up to his arm yet. So I just kind of played the percentages and said this isn't a team that forces turnovers. Yeah. They don't blitz. They don't force quarterbacks into mistakes. They sit back and wait for them to come to them, and so far they haven't.
Yeah, it's not that they don't have, and I think people got to get this, it's not that they don't have some pieces and parts that could affect turnovers if they were deployed the correct way. As constituted, as the defense is called, this is by a plan. They don't bring the heat. They don't bring the pressure, and that's because they are trying to minimize mistakes and errors rather than accentuate and force those turnovers because they don't have trust in the scheme. They don't have trust in the players, and they don't have trust that they can execute that at a high level against a guy like Josh Allen. So the plan is, all right, well, let them walk the ball up the field 12, 13 plays, and hopefully they get a false start, they get a holding, maybe we get an pass interference, maybe they get something, and then all of a sudden it derails and it stalls the drive, they got to punt. But that's the classical bend but don't break.
I thought I made that call with the weather. I thought that might have an effect on it. I mean, and I would probably change that now, but I don't. It wouldn't surprise me if it popped something loose, but I would not make that same bet. I thought it was. I mean, we were supposed to have atrocious weather, and thought maybe that would affect it. So, but yeah, I now would be on the other side of that fence.
And I'm like Jay. I mean, at this point, see, you are who you are, right? You're not going to turn the ball over. I mean, you're not going to create turnovers. You just don't, right? So, I mean,
I'm pretty far in.
I'm going to ride with it because every time I think you're about to change, you always revert back to who you are, right? I thought we were going to run the ball. Then we went back to 11 carries for my best guy again. I don't care if we was down a bunch of points. We don't commit to nothing. So we're not committing to be no blitzing crew, nobody playing on the edge, nobody taking chances. That's just not.
They're letting the game come to them on defense instead of forcing.
That's how you get dictated to all the time. You sit back and wait. Okay, you just jump in the car, you ride.
Got it. Right. Yeah. All right, number 2.
Number 2, Brad, you're going to start on this one because you got the last word on the last one. Will Nick Chubb have more rushing yards than Stephon Diggs has receiving yards? It was once again a 3-3 split. Tyvis Powell and Brad said yes. Polk, J, and G said no. Brad, you're up first.
So the Bills air it out. Now we're going to the dome, right? To think that Josh Allen's not going to air it out, and Stephon Diggs is a player. So DeQuell can attest to this. The Maryland man, he's gonna get numbers. That's what he does, get numbers, and he likes to get numbers on people, right? So all our DBs waiting in the wings, you about to see the real one. He the real one, right? And Josh Allen's not afraid to sling it. So if it gets going up in Ford Field, you're going to be looking at some massive numbers. And I don't think that if the Browns get down, they're going to commit to running Nick Chubb.
Well, we know
that. I thought Brad was on this side. I thought Brad was on the side with us there, wasn't he, Mike?
No, I'm on the no side.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, Chubb will not get the yards.
Right.
Well,
right.
Brad did say yes, but I guess he's changing his answer.
No,
now.
I thought I was on the no side.
So you're on the yes side.
Can you put the graphic back up again?
Yeah, we'll run it back. Brad, and I just checked the text. You did say yes here. But I like how Brad's flexible enough to change his answer on the fly because the game got moved from Buffalo
You don't
to
work
Detroit.
every day, buddy.
He convinced me. I mean, he convinced me because that's exactly why I said he wouldn't. But so someone who thinks that Chubb will, and I think Bull, you were in there. Tell us
Bull,
why.
you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Stephon Diggs is going to have a big game. He always does. I think both guys will have big games. I got Nick Chubb with 129 rushing yards and Stephon Diggs with 121 receiving yards.
How many
both
carries,
big
Will?
numbers. It's a toss-up, but I think both guys will do well.
I love how specific those numbers are.
Yeah, one.
Yes, gotta be specific.
How many carries for Chubb?
Probably 15, 16 in this game is my thought.
Wow, that's a big
15
average.
Guaranteed loss.
That's over 7 yards per carry average.
He's going to have I think he's going to have a couple of big games. I mean, the Browns hand the ball to running backs more than any other team in the NFL.
Bull, aren't you worried though? Aren't you worried? Well, yeah.
Hey, McNuggets.
No, stop. Not getting into it.
Remember I was in the
fact.
car with you?
Next question. Question three.
Ask Bull how many carries.
I didn't
Question
do
number
it.
3. Steve, take it. Put it
Ask
up.
Bull how many
Put it
more carries Derrick Henry has than Nick Chubb.
I promise
That's because
McNuggets.
Derrick Henry doesn't have a second back.
I promise
Question
McNuggets
3.
we wouldn't go there.
Will Jacoby Brissett attempt 29 or more passes versus Buffalo?
Hell no.
Only one person said yes. This is when the game was being played outdoors, and that was G. Bush.
Yeah, I would change that now.
Who else would change it? Let's
I
go with
would.
that.
I would
Jay, you
change
would
mine.
change it.
Yeah, I
Polk
would.
would change it. Brad?
You think you're going to have more than 29 passes?
Yeah, because I think they're going to fall behind big early.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's the same reason I didn't think Chubb would
yeah.
have more rushing yards than
Go
Diggs.
back.
Interceptions count as passes,
I
right?
don't think he'll have no 29 passes.
They do.
I don't
Okay,
care
all right,
if
good.
I don't care if
I'd
it's
stay with
inside,
mine.
outside.
38
but you
attempts.
go back to that graphic, McNuggets, when you had Allen versus Jacoby Brissett.
Allen versus
and I
Brissett,
like Brissett.
81 Steve.
Just look at this graphic. I looked at it when it was on the screen, right? This is
Yeah.
going to be the killer, right? This
You
is
know
the
it's
killer.
good when he says, I like Brissett. And I like Brissett.
Yeah, like,
before
that's how you stat before you stat.
No disrespect. Disrespect coming.
So they all 64%. They got 64% completion, right?
Right.
Look at the yards. Only
So does
700 yards.
Brissett.
It's a big
The
gap.
completion
Look,
percentage is almost no difference. That's pretty impressive.
Look at the team, but look at the result.
Yeah.
There's a distinct difference there.
Well, that's because they throw the ball a lot more.
That's a check down Charlie.
You got
That's check down Charlie right there.
8 TDs.
Yeah.
But you can see how he's going to throw 29 times if they fall behind.
Jay, I'm from a school where we might get 5 in a game. What are you talking about? we got 8 in series. 8 in season.
Hey, them slant and dump routes is looking good. Yeah.
It's not strong.
Look at that
It's not
completion.
strong.
I'm reading my keys.
You guys say that. You guys have been whining about handing the ball. The Browns have rushing touchdowns. The Bills don't. So I don't know what you're talking about.
They're not going to need them.
See? 8 easy touchdowns
In 9 games.
Hey, we burning it up.
Those are Charlie Fry
we
numbers.
complete 61% of our passes.
Hey, shoot.
Yep.
I'm accurate as hell.
You guys ready for the next one?
Yeah, we're more than ready.
Question number 4. This was a 4-2 finale. And I felt bad asking this, but we had to. The numbers back up the validity of this question.
I know.
Will Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome combine for more than 1 pass breakup versus the Bills?
I said
G
yes.
and Polk said no. Everyone else said yes.
I
Polk,
mean,
you want to start?
If they don't, they
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I just haven't seen it. We're this many games in. I haven't seen it yet. So, I mean, until I see it, I have a hard time predicting it's going to happen against one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league, that's the week it's going to happen. And until then, I hope I'm wrong, but tell me why I should.
I got a yes. I mean, he going to sling it 45 times.
Yeah.
I'm like, break up 1.
I put
Two, right?
This was equivalent to a hitter that strikes out a lot. Will he at least get 1 foul tip?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
These were 2
Pass
guys.
breakups is such a stupid stat.
It is, but it is what it is, Bull. I mean, it's a stupid stat, but
That they're
it
not
counts.
excelling at.
You can't say it's stupid just because we don't get it.
No.
If you don't get
I just
picks,
mean it's stupid in terms of like this game. I don't know why Mike uses that as one of the things. I think
I think it's to illustrate the point of how embarrassing it is
Yeah.
that our 2 supposedly stud cornerbacks can't combine for something that seems like a very pedestrian statistic.
Last week I asked Bull, will anyone not named Myles Garrett get a sack?
Yeah.
And it was turned out to be a very valid question.
Yeah.
like these guys, like Newsome. See, the thing is, when you watch the film, like Polk says, it's almost like this. Have you seen her? Yeah, no, we have not seen. You have been nowhere near the ball. Like Newsome, the only guy that been close is Emerson. That's it. Like we got 1 pick from Denzel Ward, but I mean, it seemed it would be easy for you guys to just knock the ball down once, get a tip.
How many breakups did they have last week, Mike? Did those guys have any last week?
1.
I will tell you right now,
at.
and as I'm pulling up the stat, we're going to bring DeQuell in for the last 2 questions here. What's up, DeQuell?
Yeah.
Long time no see, man. How you been?
Hey, what's up?
Good, good. What's up, fellas?
Boy.
Hey, DeQuell.
Maryland out,
Hey.
boy.
I'm wearing all my Maryland stuff for Brad.
I had mine on last week, bro. I was with you.
Wait, DeQuell, we got to talk about something here.
Hey, you know what's happening up in the little stadium tomorrow.
Do you know?
No, don't worry about it.
You know what's happening.
Cheyenne's got tickets for you for the women's games when you want to go to the Maryland game. Don't worry about that. 'Cause this
I'm
gonna
not
be a
going to see that
blitzkrieg
blowout.
tomorrow,
I'm not
bro.
going to
Don't
see
worry
that
about it,
blowout
bro.
in person.
Don't worry about
I'm
it,
not
bro.
going to see that
It ain't
blowout in person.
It ain't nothing personal.
Y'all
Hey,
happy
DeQuell.
because y'all
I
beat
love them
Maryland?
Terps.
Really?
I respect
Well, you're
the
having
bravery and the
surgery for a torn
representation.
Achilles?
Yeah, I am. Unfortunately, I am. On Monday morning, I'm having surgery I tore my Achilles playing neighborhood basketball
I heard.
with some guys. And, Brad, it was so embarrassing.
How did it go?
Well.
Now, I partially tore my Achilles getting out of a bathtub, right?
Look, I got my. Oh, you can actually see it. Oh, let me get those out.
Well, DeQuell, have you ever torn your Achilles before?
No, never. I've never had any issues. I mean, I've sprained my ankle when I played, things like that, but nothing this serious. And I knew right away when I did it.
You knew what
I was
happened.
jogging.
How did it happen?
So, this is probably about the 4th or 5th week. Every Tuesday around 8 o'clock, a bunch of guys from the neighborhood, we'll go over a guy's house. He has a gym, and we'll get after it. Some guys played at college, but some guys aren't so good. But either way,
Man.
yeah, he's a developer. It's another story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen,
Okay.
don't worry about them. Keep telling your story.
We're just impressed by your friends,
I'm
DeQuell.
with you. I understand what you're saying.
Okay, Brad, you're with me. Okay. We'll get back to that, G.
We'll get back to G
that,
later.
Yeah.
We'll bring him up to speed later.
Yeah, so one of the guys, we're winning the game. We play to 7, all ones or what have you. And, normally I'm a very competitive guy. So when I show up, I'm not trying to lose. So I probably lost like twice in like 5 weeks, right?
Okay.
So anyway, one of the teammates, he makes a bucket. I'm jogging back to get ready to play defense.
That's how it happens.
My guy has the ball in his hand. I get ready to play defense, and all of a sudden, I turn around. I feel this what feels like
a pop in your ankle. Pop.
Like,
I
shot
didn't hear a pop, but I felt like someone kicked me in the ankle.
Yeah, like somebody kicked you. That's it.
Yeah, I turned to my teammate. I'm like, his name is Ryan. I'm like, Ryan, did you kick me? He was like, no. I was like, no, dude, it felt like someone just kicked me.
want to be Ron right
And
now.
he was like, no, I didn't touch you. And I took one step, and immediately I knew right away I had torn it.
Probably hanging. Yep.
Did you tear yours, Brad? Brad, you've torn Achilles?
No, but I seen. I remember when Dominic Wilkins tore his. He was just running down the court and just
Well,
whoop.
Let me advise you, well.
What's that?
Let me advise you, as someone, obviously you're in much better shape than I am, but still, I tore my Achilles when I was about you. How old are you now?
39.
Okay, I was, I think, 41 when I tore my Achilles. And my advice would be, and it'll be easier for you than me because you're obviously an athlete, I'm not, is get out of the boot as soon as you, because they're gonna do the surgery, right? Then they're gonna probably put you in a cast for a couple of weeks, and then you go in the boot forever for a while.
Yep.
I would say try to get out of the boot as soon as you can and start working on getting that, because your Achilles, your whole leg is gonna shrink. When you get out of that boot, you're gonna look at the difference between your calves, between your two legs. Maybe it won't be as dramatic for you because you're in good shape, but I'm thinking, because you're not going to use that calf at all for months, and so you got to start building that calf up, and it's, even for an athlete, it's a hard muscle to kind of rebuild. So you got to get after it like huge, because I didn't do a good enough job, and 10 years later, my one calf is still significantly smaller than the other.
I'm not.
Dr. Bull has spoken.
So before we get back to the game, DeQuell, we'll end this on a good note. You want to tell everyone what you texted me after you told me what happened?
No, I can't remember. What did I text you? Was I talking crap?
Yeah, you're like, I told my kids I still beat your ass on one leg.
Oh, yeah, you guys can't play basketball now.
I wanted you to say it. I remember what I said.
I know you did. Hey, I actually found I got a story for. Well, I'll just tell it now. I got invited to play in the Hillcrest YMCA pickup. Brad, Chris says he knows you from the Hillcrest YMCA.
Say it again. The pickup.
Chris from the Hillcrest Y.
Chris from the Hillcrest Y. Yeah.
Yeah.
You playing in that league now?
I got invited. The only white dude there yesterday.
That's all right. You'll be all right.
It was quite the run. All right, we got 2 questions left. DeQuell, we're going to start with you. We'll go around the panel after. I sent you the questions. This is question 5.
Okay, I didn't look at them.
Will Donovan Peoples-Jones have more receiving yards than Gabe Davis on Sunday? DeQuell, yes or no?
Yes or no? I'm gonna go with yes. I think Donovan Peoples-Jones, given the opportunity, I think he should be featured more. The guy is making some big time plays and big moments for this team. I think he should be getting the ball a lot more and should be a focal point. Yes, I do think so.
Well, I'm glad you said yes, because literally everyone else on the panel said no.
Said no. Oh, man.
And we're saying no for the same reason. 8 TDs and 5 interceptions.
That has nothing to do with this.
9 games.
And DeQuell, you know what happens if Stefanski starts seeing that his numbers creeping up. Oh, hell no. We got to hold you back, dog. You can't be running around here with
the coat on, hit the bench.
Hey, you on the pitch.
Excelling?
You on the pitch count, too. You only get 4 touches a game. Target, dog.
Any more?
Hey, Mike, I'm changing my answer because of the weather.
You're changing your answer because of the weather?
Because I thought the Bills would still throw the ball in the snow and the Browns wouldn't as much. But in the dome, I say Donovan Peoples-Jones and Gabriel Davis have basically the same amount of receiving yards on the season. I think that Gabriel Davis maybe has 20 more yards in the year. So I'm going to go with DPJ. I think he's going to have a good game this week. I'm going with him over Gabriel Davis, so I'm switching, now that it's
all right, there we go. And can we talk about this snow game for a second? Man. I mean, I get it. 2 to 4 feet of snow, you're putting a lot of people in harm's way. But, man, I was looking forward to watching a game, that snow game between those two teams, because in 2007, oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
in 2007,
it would have been cool.
We ain't talking about 2 to 4, bro. 4 to 6, bro.
Yeah. Oh wow,
that's a difference.
Wow. Yeah, so I mean, you can't put people in harm's way, but I would have loved to see both of these teams, the way the Browns play offense, the way they run the ball.
Yeah, it would have been fun.
That to me would have been a huge advantage for the Browns. But
Now,
unfortunately,
they could have forsaken the tickets and not made any money in Buffalo and just cleared the field. Yeah, they could have done that.
The NFL is going to make money.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah, they're not in this for charity.
Yeah, they're like, no.
They thought about that for an eighth of
You're
a second.
cutting it to the bottom line here, bro.
No. We'll play this game on the moon before we play
They
it.
said, oh, we have an open stadium in Detroit.
That is. Go ahead.
I just remember 2007, we played Buffalo in Cleveland, and it was probably one of the best experiences playing football with all the snow. I mean, I think we won like 9-3, 9-0, something like 9-6. I mean, it was one of those games it was okay to miss a tackle. Guys were sliding around, laughing, kikiing on both sides of the ball. It was a really dope experience, but fortunately, we'll have to see this explosion of the Bills' offense in the dome in Detroit.
I hate to bring this up, but one of the most memorable snow games I remember when OJ ran for 2,000. That was in the snow.
He went over 2,000 for the season.
That was in the snow.
By the way, I had to go back and do the research. Hey man, OJ was good, bro.
What?
Good.
He was.
I had to go back. The propaganda. You know when they cancel you, they strike you from the records. It's hard to find film on the brother. You be like, oh.
How'd you think he'd get cast in the Naked Gun
bro?
if he was lousy?
You say they canceled him as if he said something inappropriate. The guy murdered his wife.
You can't kill anybody.
I'm just saying. I mean, it's the first. I mean, he was the first cancel. You got to think. That's why I always have a problem with people when they be so passionate about dudes that played before you.
That's why
I know nothing about that.
That's why I hate say he canceled himself.
Yeah.
That's why I hate
two people.
That's why I hate to bring up
at least 2 people.
OJ's name.
Allegedly.
Yeah, where's the allegedly?
2000,
if he did,
that was in the snow.
Yeah.
DeQuell, I have a question about that 2007 game, though. I saw pictures of Joe Thomas. He didn't wear sleeves. Did you wear sleeves in the game? And what's your take on offensive linemen who refuse to wear any type of sleeves or protective warmth when it gets down to those frigid temperatures?
So I think because it was my second year, I think I did wear sleeves because I had to get used to the Cleveland winters. But after that, I probably didn't because it didn't matter. Honestly, it didn't matter whether you wore sleeves or not.
No. Go back to what you was about to say. What'd you do? You oiled up. What'd you say?
Oh, yeah. I had put all the Vaseline on, put layers of Vaseline all over my chest, my arms, everywhere, man. And it still didn't help.
We need a graphic talking about only black people know. Only black people. Man, when you was growing up and you had to walk to school and do what? It was either your grandmother or your mother. They got this big thing of Vaseline.
Keep coming.
And before you walk out the door, they say, boy, get over here. Mom, come on. They put that Vaseline all over your face.
Layers.
Give me your other hand. I'm like, Mom, I got a snowsuit on top. And then they put that snowsuit, and then if you got a little cough, they put Vicks Vapor Rub over that. And so you smelling like a York peppermint patty mixed with Bengay. And you get to school and all your white friends look at you. What happened,
here?
Are you okay?
And the old school cure for everything. Give me some castor oil.
Get that castor oil.
There's some castor oil.
That don't mix with nothing. You can put that. Look, see. No, don't do it. I'm good. Don't give it to me. All we need, no Robitussin for us. You got an earache, they be like, let me warm up some sweet oil and pour it in your ear. I'm like, my ear was infected. I needed some penicillin, maybe antibiotic. Not no beeswax.
It's like witchcraft.
Vaseline did the trick, man. Vaseline did the trick.
That's when I heard him say he oiled up. I'm like, here it comes.
But you never had chapped lips, and your skin was very silky smooth.
Didn't wrinkle up when you get older. Nice and smooth.
I heard Booker McFarland was on a podcast I listened to, and he said the Vaseline thing. I didn't believe him. That makes no sense.
Oh, yeah.
That's for real.
Layers of Vaseline.
That's for real.
Layers of Vaseline. And you reapply it at
old school folklore.
It's effective against COVID, too.
Yeah, folklay. That's the castor oil. Castor oil take care of anything.
Yeah.
Oil up, G.
Man, there's a thing called liniment. J.D. Watkins.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a muscle. I don't know.
Get all that.
Hey, if you know in the chat, if you know what J.D. Watkins is, Boy, you know how your neck gets sore after you play 2 days and because you're hitting and you
Put
get.
some on that.
My grandmother snuck in the middle of the night. Let me just put some of this
Liniment on you.
It getting your muscles. That's 3 days. It burns for 3 days.
Wow. Does it work though?
No.
No, it just burns your muscles.
It just smells.
It turned out that I had herniated discs. That liniment had nothing for that.
That didn't work.
Amazing.
One last Feds question we got to get to. Very last one. DeQuell, you can start on this. We had a 3-3 split on the panel, so you will be the determining vote in this question. Will Myles Garrett have more sacks than Josh Allen has rushing touchdowns on Sunday? Yes or
That's
no?
a great question.
Thank you.
I think
We have more sacks than No, I don't think so. I got to go. No, I don't think so. He hasn't been the Myles Garrett of late because we haven't had a really big lead, and so we haven't been able to use our two dogs on the outside. No, I don't think so. I think Josh Allen's going to bounce back from all the turnovers the last 2 weeks. He's got something to prove. I think they're going to come out and probably take some pressure off of Josh Allen and this offense. Try to, even though they want to pass the ball like crazy, they're probably going to, implement more of the running game, take a little bit of pressure off of Josh Allen and get him back to rolling. I think this will be the game. They're looking at the Browns as if this is a get back on track game in terms of building their confidence. But I don't think Myles Garrett's going to have more sacks than Josh Allen has rushing yards for sure.
Let me ask you a question, DeQuell.
What you got?
You've already answered the fence question. You got two dogs on the outside that can get out there and get after, right?
Yeah.
So what am I missing? Because if I got these two cats that can get out here on you, right, and I don't empower them with the rest of the crew so they can get up there and do their thing and wreak havoc here, who is that?
The defense is the defense. I mean, Joe Woods. The defense is stagnant. They haven't done anything. You can expect when you turn the tape on or when you watch the game on Sunday, where Myles Garrett is going to line up. Where Jadeveon Clowney is going to be. Those guys are never together. They're always apart. They're always on the outside. Honestly, I don't think Joe Woods is going to be around next season. And speak quite frank, the interior of this defense, man, I went back and watched out of all the D tackles we have listed that play for us, we have a total of 6 guys. We have a total of 5.5 sacks. And I know sacks isn't the end all be all, but they get thrown around. They don't. When was the last time we saw an interior defensive lineman make a play behind the line of scrimmage for a tackle for loss? I haven't seen it all season. I haven't seen it from any of the guys. So that's going to have an effect on the effectiveness of Myles Garrett or Jadeveon Clowney. But at the end, Joe Woods has. You know what? We can't change the stripes on the zebra. He is who he is at this point. He's not going to change. We're in the middle of the season. He is who he is. He's not going to change things, even though everyone is. The game is very simple. If an offense is trying to scheme this defense, you know exactly what Myles Garrett is going to be. I rarely see him standing up, rushing over a guard, rushing over a center. I never see him in those positions, hardly ever. So you know what? It is what it is. Listen, these guys, these coaches, they feel like they know everything, and clearly he hasn't been able to get the most potential out of this unit all season long. And the only guy, in my opinion, that's really been outside of Myles Garrett when he has had moments has been Martin Emerson. Martin Emerson, in my opinion, has been the MVP of this defense.
Wow.
Not even close. There isn't anyone in a close second. So, him and Myles Garrett, I would put those two at the top. But everyone else has been playing inconsistent football all season long, and this defense just doesn't have an answer. The way they got bullied last week against the Miami Dolphins, that was embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. And you know what? For a defense, if you don't come to play, despite of what the offense is doing, you don't come to play, you're going to have a long freaking game. And that's just what –
Did you hear anybody – okay, you said it's embarrassing, right? So I didn't hear anybody really belly aching about it, right?
Right.
I didn't really get that.
I heard
this
was on the coach's show. Pharaoh Brown, they got him, and this is the great thing about when you get new players in the locker room, because they're not indoctrinated into the rules of engagement. A lot of times the rules of engagement when things is going bad is don't rock the boat, shut up and put your head down. Pharaoh Brown said something that was very interesting. He said, when we talking about the team and Jacoby Brissett, he says, when we get down and we don't give the ball, or we can't give the ball to Kareem Hunt or Nick Chubb, that it's hard for us to win games. We can't win games, and he's saying that like, hey, I get that you guys want to maybe be balanced. He said, but for the players on the sideline, you don't know how demoralizing it is to see guys that you know are at the top of their peer groups in the league. So, and you saying, I got a guy like this, and when we down a couple scores, all of a sudden we go away from it. And they're like, we know what Jacoby is. We not knocking him for not being able to lead us back because we know he has a ceiling. But when he talked about that, and you hear Jadeveon Clowney say, well, look, at least when we get, Deshaun Watson back in the mix, at least then we can come back and we can have our own whole playbook. But I think they're demoralized.
Right? That's the hope. Is like Deshaun Watson will come back and be able to cover up some of the faults or some of the inconsistencies of this football team. It's not going to happen. They are who they are right now. And to your point, this team has only been able to win in one manner. That's running the football. So if you get behind 2 scores, now what do? You got to put the ball in Jacoby Brissett's hand, and we've seen what happened when the ball is in his hands, late game situations, critical situations. We expect him not to make the play. That's where it's come to. So that is the makings of not a bad football team. You can only win in one fashion. That's running the football, and hopefully you can get some stops on the other end, which, quite frankly, they haven't done a good job of turning the ball over. I don't know what the turnover margin is this year, but I would imagine it's not that great.
It's not strong.
But, it's not strong. Yes, the Browns. What are the turnover margin?
I think they're second to last in the league.
Browns are 31st in turnovers.
I can name the turnovers.
Are they like -5?
Delpit had a pick. Ward had a pick. I don't even remember no fumble causes, no strip sacks. Myles Garrett at least had 3 or 4.
One fumble at one.
Jadeveon Clowney forced one against Joe Flacco.
Okay. They got it back, though.
I thought Myles
If
Garrett
we can
forced
sit
it.
here and say off the top of our
That's
head
not a
all
good
of
sign.
the turnovers the Browns had this year, that explains why they're 3-6.
Let's do Jacoby's touchdowns next. That won't take long.
No, it won't.
Hey, I have a question for you, DeQuell, about Martin Emerson. How is he doing this in this system in this year? He's a rookie. He's playing the same defense. Who's motivating him, or is he just that talented, or is he self-motivated, or how does somebody shine in a system like this when a defense looks this bad?
You know what? You have to be. It's got to be this self-motivation that you're not playing for the playoffs. You don't have anything to play for after the season. He's a rookie. He's coming in. He's done a great job of blocking out the outside noise and focusing in on his job at hand. And you look at some of the plays that he's been beat on. That's been contested. Every one of those catches have been contested. And that gives me a lot of confidence. If it's not contested, he's having a PBU, he's got a pass breakup, and he just seems to be at the right place at the right time. And somehow, you know what? Those are the type of things you can't coach. It's coming from, his internal motivation of, I want to be really good. I want to be a star on this defense. And you know what? Hopefully he can keep that mentality moving forward. Obviously, avoiding injury and things of that nature, because we all know once people start talking about you, you start reading the clippings, it can go sideways.
Either way.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, because this just popped into my head really quickly. Man, I believe in a thing called promotion demotions, right? On the surface, it look like they bigging you up, giving you we're going to move you over here, you're going to be starting right over here. Case in point, if you come in as a Mike linebacker, and they tell you, you're going to play the will for us. That's a promotion demotion for me. If I'm the Mike linebacker, I'm the signal caller, I got the sticker, I feel like I'm a 3-down player, but they tell you, we're going to move you to will, and you're going to be in our nickel package. You start in the nickel package. No, that needs to be in subtitles. They confused you. You got promoted but demoted. When I watched Martin Emerson, right, and he's a 3rd-round pick. Third. And you got Greg Newsome, right, who's a 1st-round pick. When they start saying, Newsome, you in the slot, I said, hold on now. That's a promotion demotion. Because if we running base, does that mean Newsome is playing? No. If we on goal line, does that mean Newsome is playing? No. So you got a first-round pick who you using on the sneak as a substitute player. He's a little smaller. He's a little big. Emerson is bigger. To me, I look at that as, is that a miss?
But that's how it happens, G. It's like if you started on the outside of being a number 1 or number 2 corner, and you're not playing that well, there's another guy behind you that's playing well. They want to see more of. That's the order of the motion. You go to the nickel. Now you start playing in the slot, and they're going to see if you can play in the slot, and that's a much trickier, situation to be in, because now instead of being on the one side or the other, now that slot receiver has a two-way go, and it puts you in a bind. So the next demotion will be him probably not being here pretty soon. But yeah, that's the way it kind of goes. And a lot of corners who started on the outside have become very good nickelbacks if they've been a star in their role. And right now, he hasn't been a star in any role this point this season. So you're on to something right there.
Those are high draft picks that are not panning out, which typically means to a lot of no success for the teams that they're playing for.
Well, then you look at the general manager.
Now you're looking at it. You heard me say this weeks ago. Who is doing the scouting here?
I am too.
Who's doing the scouting here? Because at some point, the people you bringing in here have to work out. There has to be some benefit to having these people around here.
Well, DeQuell, what's stunning to me is the philosophy of this football team. And I wish they were more transparent about this, but they're not. I don't know if this comes from Dee Podesta or if this comes from Andrew Berry. But when you look at the recent draft picks, it is clear what they are prioritizing. They have zero priority on linebackers. They have zero priority on defensive interior linemen. But look at the picks that they've spent on defensive backs in the Berry era. And I don't know, is that, and you can even go back, I believe, I don't have it in front of me, you could probably go back to the John Dorsey era. I think he was heavy on defensive backs too. That's what makes me think that maybe this is coming from Paul Dee Podesta. Maybe he's saying it's a passing league, and if we have good corners, we're well positioned to defend all of these passing teams. But the fact of the matter is this philosophy is not working, and the players that they've selected for the most part, and I'll give them a hit on Denzel, and I'll give them a hit on Emerson, but I think the other guys, Genu all of a sudden looks like a miss. Delton looks like a miss. Greedy Williams, what the hell were they thinking with Greedy Williams? So maybe not only is their philosophy of going heavy DB flawed, but their track record of getting good players at that position is also at question. Am I right?
Yeah, you're spot on. You have to. You have to. And what I would have loved to see was guys who were starters early in the season. If you're not playing well, you got to sit them. Even if it's not permanent for the rest of the season, it'll permeate throughout the rest of that locker room. That's what I've been waiting to see. What is going on? Are we going to see a different lineup? Or how do you shake things up to get everyone's attention for that point when guys are underperforming? When you've invested so much into these high draft picks on the back end, and we all would have probably agreed before the beginning of the season, we thought that the defense would be the stronghold of this team. And unfortunately, it hasn't been by a long shot. But you were at that point where you have to question all the decisions that were made, whether it's Andrew Berry or I can't say his name right now. But I think Podesta. We're at that point now where we have to, everyone's in question. Everyone's in question. What I would like to see is some bold moves made. You look at how, Bill Belichick has done business in the past. He sat a guy for the Super Bowl, for Christ's sake, for whatever reason. And so there needs to be big moves made to get the attention of other guys. That's the only thing you can do at this point to salvage this season to see what you have. Because next season, you got to be able to cut bait with some of these guys.
DeQuill, I've been saying this for weeks. So I want you, from the player perspective, explain to everybody else here, what happens inside the locker room when you know you're on a team and you and I as players know when somebody's not performing, right? But there's no accountability being held for that person who's underperforming by either sitting them down, calling them out. What does it do to the rest of the players when you have to continually sit here and watch a person that you know is not getting it done, right? and you out here banging your head against the wall, what will happen inside that locker room?
Yeah, well, we're seeing it. You become 3-6, and you start to lose faith, and you start you become tone deaf. Whatever your coordinator is talking about, whatever your head coach is talking about, if there's no accountability there, and guys know who isn't playing and who shouldn't be playing, or who's only playing because of their contract for whatever reason, for money purposes.
Or who the favorite, right? We got it.
Who the favorite is, and you start to question the guys that leading the ship. And now you start to have this hero ball where, you know what, screw them. This guy's playing like crap. They're not going to sit him down. I'm going to look out for me and me only. And that's when you get a bunch of inconsistency that, unfortunately you can't reel back in because you've lost the trust of the players because you haven't made a bold move. And all it takes is one guy. You don't have to sit 5 or 6 guys.
Just got to chop one head off.
Yeah, that's all you have to do to get guys' attention. And it hasn't been done.
Gotta be a
and
good
this
head,
is what
though.
you have. The product on the field on Sunday is a 3-6 product. We can only win in one fashion. That is, if we have a lead, if we can run the ball, we can play. Hope to keep, cross our fingers to play great defense. Hope to get some sacks. Hope to get turnovers. There's a lot of, hope in this play where, unfortunately, it becomes you're a bad football team. And now you have to start looking at the coaches and evaluating everyone involved with this product that you're putting out on the field.
And this is where
a lot of times, I remember, I was at OU. In my first year, Jim Grope was there. We had, 7-4. We beat Minnesota. We
have to hear about it every day.
Yes, we do. and we beat Marshall. I'll take that. They were the greatest thing smoking. But the next year we went 1-10. And
what happened?
Our coach went to Wake Forest, and he left, and Wake Forest ended up winning a championship a couple years in the ACC. We got left with our defensive coordinator, who was a head coach.
Coaches, they always steal our good coaches.
He was just a coordinator. Yeah. That's what he was.
Yeah.
We went 1-10, and I remember seeing
he's Stefanski.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He used to come in and talk about, we're a military school. I said, no, you're not. You got an ROTC program. Stop acting like you're a Navy or Army. Ain't nobody going to war over here. He talk about we wear only gray T-shirts, and you better not have no earrings. He making people cover up tattoos. All kind of your socks gotta be medium. They out there all they doing with rulers. And you know what I told him, man? I said, look, man, I said, y'all, you can make us run all you want, man. The reality of it is, you running a triple option on 3rd and 8. Why do you think we stupid? We not dumb. We understand that's not gonna work. And I said, you can. And I told this to a coach. Probably why I will never coach. I'm not a good person to be a good subordinate. I said, you can come here until you're blue in the face. The reality of it is you can't get rid of the whole team.
Right.
You can't cut the whole junior and senior class. The reality of it is you'll be gone before all of these other kids will be gone. And instead of trying to worry about all this other tertiary and stuff, why don't you just concentrate on one thing? How can I get my people the ball? How can I come up with a good game plan? And how can I motivate people to win?
About that other stuff.
And all that rest of that stuff don't really matter, bro. It just don't.
Yeah. Does anyone think we have a chance this weekend against the Bills?
Bull does.
No.
Bull? Really?
Yeah, Bull does. But Bull's, I'm a little confused by Bull's eternal optimism all of a sudden. He was never that way in the past. But
when they had hope, Bull was the negative Nancy on the show. And now they kind of lost their playoff hopes. Bull's turned into the eternal optimist. And he's not with us, so we can't ask him. He'll join us again
he'll be back in 10 minutes.
I think they're messing. I think he's tinkering with his medication right now. And I think that's causing us all. I know when I'm doing that.
Allegedly. There you go. Yeah. Now that is a human nature thing, though, by the way. Human natures always seek. Nature is all about balance.
Yeah.
Yin and yang. Everything has a negative, everything has a positive. And as humans, we look for balance. So if we're in a group setting and 4 people are negative about something, the last or the next couple people have to think about it and they say, well, it can't be all one side, so I have to even it up a little bit and be more optimistic.
Well, you hear.
So you think it's his contrarian nature?
Well, I wouldn't say contrarian. It's to find harmony.
Okay.
Like, we like to have
Bull's
harmony and peace.
for harmony?
Yeah, everybody does it, right?
Yeah.
G. Bush, if that was true, he would let one argument go. He would let one run the ball argument just I love Bull. I love Bull.
It's Turkey Day. He has a bigger heart.
He can't. He
I
hates
love that we're talking
we
smack
learned
on
he
him
hates
and not just
turkey. What do you
bringing
say,
him
turkey pushers?
onto the Zoom with
Turkey
us.
pushers.
Yeah.
I love that.
So, you know, at some point here, so we're going to go into Detroit this weekend. We're going to see what happens. We go in there,
Prove me
we're
wrong.
watching.
Prove me
You
wrong.
know, we all want them to win. I don't think there's anybody here that don't want them to win.
Right.
But we are, you know, as any good business person, we're now studying the data. The data is not trending your way, right?
Sure.
Now, you may shock me, but it's not trending your way.
Right.
But my question is, I wonder over in Berea, is anybody reading the data, right? And the data is, I'm not just talking about the data for the week-to-week statistics. The data of the complexity of the entire thing here, because it's not trending well. It's not trending well at all, right? And if you think that Deshaun Watson going to walk in here and is going to flip the switch and this thing going to go another way, you might steal one or two. But if you are like this today, 6 weeks later, you're still like that today, add another 2 weeks, so you still like that today, you probably like that, right? So I'm not looking for any miracles around here.
Deshaun Watson is the equivalent of taking NyQuil when you got cancer.
The patient may already be too far gone.
You worried about in-life process, and I'm not disrespecting anybody with the cancer thing. I'm
Or
just
anyone
saying,
who enjoys NyQuil.
Oh, yes, I do, by the way. Terminal illness.
You know what I'm
The
saying?
Browns are terminal in their DNA. Like, it's at the cellular level. Like, their DNA is broken. You can't fix broken DNA. You got to start all the way over. And hopefully you get you a new body, a new something, because you taking cough syrup and Tylenol and Oxycontin, Lord, all this other stuff, but you rarely get down to the root of it. And when you even ask him what's going on, what happens?
Nobody
He says,
knows.
well,
We got to do better.
it's a quick turnaround in the NFL. We got another one really coming up quick. So we don't have too much time to be dilly-dallying and feeling sorry for ourselves. We're on to the next week. That's that comment alone, I know he's trying to play like, you know, be politically correct. That comment alone is frightening, because that means you're going from week to week, never analyzing what's going on, never trying to fix what the root problem is, and you're telling us we're just going to drink NyQuil and put our head in the sand.
Where's the
Hey,
urgency?
G, that's the most frustrating part about it, because when you're players at this point in the season, if you're 6-3, you're a good football team. If you're 3-6, every player knows we're not a good football team.
Exactly.
And yet the head coach, every time there's some like hero speech that let's galvanize the guys, the guys are rolling their eyes like, man, we are terrible. We just need to figure out how to get out of this and not make ourselves look bad, worse than what we already have. So that becomes the crux of it all. It's like you have a coach that clearly is saying all the right things politically. And I don't know what he's saying behind closed doors, but if I were a head coach, I'd be like, listen, guys, what do we want to make out of this season? Where we are who we are, and how can we get ourselves out of it? How can we get one, you know, and start changing the message as opposed to, you know, this
global theory, right?
Yeah,
So,
we're going to say the same things over and over and over again, and guys are rolling their eyes like we're not a good football team.
I'm gonna tell you this: somebody has to hold somebody accountable. Even the head coach has to be held accountable. There's always someone that your trusted sidekick that will keep it 100 with you, will keep it real with you. So when you sucking, they tell you sucking, right? And when you're doing well, they tell you doing well. You're on the right track. So like for me in my other world, my chief of staff, she'll come in when I'm on the thing. When I'm on one, I'm giving a speech. If it look like it's going sideways, she'll walk to a place in the room and get in front so she can be in my purview, and she'll do like this.
Yeah, you going off on one, right?
It's not going over well. We're not doing that.
Yeah, at some point,
like this.
You have to look. Is
Bring
it
it
the
down.
message or
Bring
the
it down.
messenger?
Right.
And the message is 3-6, and the messenger isn't making it any better. Well, I want a sense of urgency. I want guys talking and playing like their heads are on fire, because ours are. We know it's slipping away fast. You know, I don't know where you are on this, but I think the season's already lost. I do. But I think if they lose Sunday, you can put the stake in the heart.
Only thing you're waiting for
3-7.
Only thing you're waiting for is at that point. The only thing you're waiting for is Deshaun in Houston.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're 3-7, you've got to go 7-0 to be 10-7, which doesn't even guarantee you a spot.
Playoff hopes are out of the window at this point. Now it's about okay, who do you look at? Who on this football team are given unlimitless like efforts? who can still play at a high level, give me all the energy, all the enthusiasm, no matter what our record is. Now you have to pinpoint those guys. Who are the guys that I can identify with if things go sideways that are still doing what they were doing at the beginning of the season?
Still roll with?
How you gonna rebuild this with no picks?
We need to get rid of.
Hey, Dean, we got to go. We got to go. But before we do, I have to get you on record. I want a point and prediction for tomorrow's Buckeyes Maryland game. How's this?
Oh man! Oh, did Brad put you up to this?
No. I mean, if you're going to come rolling up with Maryland gear, we at least want you to be on the record.
Okay, I'm a realist. I'm a realist. Okay.
Okay.
I'm a realist.
Okay.
Maryland isn't going to win the game. Okay.
No.
Let me say that.
Way to keep it real.
So I just hope.
Don't put that into the universe.
Listen, I'm a realist. I've seen them play. I hope with my heart, I want them to win, but with my eyes, I know they won't. But I just hope the game they don't put up more than 50 points on the Terps. That's all I can say.
Terps not bad. They're not bad. Loxley's trying to do a good job over there, but they run about to run to a juggernaut. I saw it.
Yeah.
The juggernaut. All I can hope for is this. Please put some people in the stadium in College Park.
I know.
We only come with every blue
on
moon.
Yeah.
Shout out to Juan Dixon.
D, we got to go, man. Have a great week. Let us know how the surgery goes. We're thinking about you, man. Get well.
All right, man.
Yeah,
like to quote.
Normally I will have my drink,
No,
but
you
because
off of that. You drink that water.
Chug that water,
See you guys
brother.
next week.
All right, chug that water.
Good luck to
Well,
both.
Jackson has to have Torrey's Achilles
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago or last week. And
Still jovial. Still looks great.
upbeat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good attitude.
I know.
It's annoying.
Is Bull back with us? I know Bull
Bull's
gave him
back.
I am.
Before
some
we get the
advice.
headlines, though, the Bills just tweeted this picture 2 minutes ago. Take a look at Bills Stadium right now.
Excuses.
Under zero circumstances.
Wow.
Will they play football
Oh, there's
there.
no way.
Get
In
in there.
2
And it's
days.
supposed to snow for 2 days straight.
It's
mind you.
going to continue to snow.
I'm in the business. You can't even fool with that.
Damn, look at
Do
that.
you know how many old men in Parma that were yelling right now? I played in worse. They could play in
And
that.
you think somebody from Buffalo driving to Detroit?
Right.
There's
I'm
no
cool.
way.
I saw Bob Golick playing that.
Well, maybe not the city of Buffalo, but as you mentioned with the snow trek, I was talking to Betsy Kling about this yesterday. She said it's not uncommon for Orchard Park to get 18 inches.
Yeah, and outside of it.
And 3 miles away, they're looking at things going, wow, what happened? We got an inch. It's like that here.
Yeah.
Chardon can get 10 inches. West side of Cleveland has none. So it's possible that some of those fans are going to be able to get out.
There's a swap, but I think the problem is this, Jay. From just above Cuyahoga County to Buffalo,
Ashtabula, all of that.
is going to be tricky,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
so
it is. You're right.
That's the problem.
Right.
They can't work their way around.
I can't wait to see the crowd. I can't wait to see if it's full. I can't wait to see which team has more fans in the building. It's gonna be fun to watch.
It hurts because
Mikey, check those ticket prices. What's the kind of range we get up there?
the Bills.
I'll check the ticket prices, but DeMar Hamlin, the safety for the Bills, just tweeted this too. You can take it full. This is crazy in Buffalo. I mean, this is their starting safety, by the way. He leads the team in
He
tackles.
can't even get out.
He leads the team in whining. Get out there and play in it.
Oh my God.
Can't get out.
Besides the snow, he's so
Nick
crazy.
Chubb's on the 30. The 30 and a half.
The
31.
Jay, you know I'm sympathetic to that, right? I'm
I know you
sympathetic
are.
to that.
I
Like
wanna
that's a
see-
lot of work right there.
I wanna see
That's
Nick Chubb
that's
running
a lot of
that.
work.
How did we get here where the Bills were where we were at the same time?
I know.
We both were drafting.
Well,
in the
some of it
top-
has something to do with they got the quarterback right and we didn't.
Yeah.
And we had the pick prior to them.
Yep.
And they got the receiver right in free agents. They got Stephon Diggs. We got OBJ.
You got it. It's the front office, man.
you
You
gotta
can
hit.
if you're a sous chef.
And I can't even say
you need
the
the right
OBJ
ingredients.
thing. We did not use OBJ.
You know
at all.
where I
So I
stand
can't
on
even
it.
judge that.
Oh, stop it.
You know where I stand on that.
Nah, I'm serious. We did
But
not.
Stephon Diggs is a lot better than Odell at this point. Come on,
Man,
that's
listen
serious.
here.
Brad, tickets don't
Not
go
even
on sale
close.
till 2 o'clock. Just
All
a
right.
heads up.
So
Are there prices?
And by the way, we got to
Are the
stop.
prices
By the
listed?
way, let's clarify. We got to stop saying the Browns don't have draft picks. They actually have 8 draft picks. They just don't have a first-round pick, which is a
Well,
big deal. But don't say they don't have draft picks.
No,
They have
exactly.
They have
No,
8 draft picks
Of
in this coming
consequence.
draft.
but you know, Bull, and
Yes.
everybody knows that the further you go in rounds,
Exactly.
the less likelihood that you're going to hit on those picks.
Be clear. The game-
Agreed, but
be,
it's not
be
accurate.
clear.
But
The game
it's not like they
changers
don't have no
are at the
draft
top
picks.
of the ticket. They not.
They don't have
everybody
any,
else is just
they
fill
don't,
in.
They don't have draft picks of any consequence where they can show that they've picked any fourth rounders that it turned out to be studs.
G, would you rather have Deshaun Watson or that first-round pick right now?
I'll tell you next year.
You guys ready to do some headlines?
G.
I know I'd love to have
I'll take Deshaun Watson, but still, it's hard to watch, right?
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
Okay, let's do them.
Let's do some headlines. Jay, you're up first.
All right. This one wasn't hard this week. It really wasn't. Bills run through Browns. Browns losing spiral continues. It's pretty generic, but it's just.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. I just don't feel like they have.
You do. You seem really beat up by this one.
I am. No, I'm listen. I'm beat up.
seem
I'm
dejected.
beat down. I'm dejected because something hit me when DeQuell was talking. When he said what players, and I know you caught my look.
I saw it.
When he was talking about players who look around going,
what is this?
We're not going to the playoffs.
Yeah, what is this?
It's not even Thanksgiving,
Crazy.
and we're playing meaningless football.
A meaningless
Football.
It's like purgatory for a player. It's the worst.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you. I've been on one of them teams. And I was in Minnesota when Minnesota I think we won 18 games, right?
Jesus.
18 games. We so far out of the loop. You know what I started doing? We started hitting the road. I went to Sacramento. I didn't even know Sacramento had lakes. I'm going sailing today. So I'm going today.
A 7-foot black man on a sailboat.
I'm going sailing today.
What you doing out here, Brad? We suck. I'm seeing the cities.
Living my life.
That's what it is.
No, but it's so depressing.
It's for
But how to
real.
get to that point? Who was your coach at that point?
Bill Musselman.
And-
But see, we were on an expansion team. This was
Lord.
team. It was awful.
right,
It was
right,
freaking
right.
awful.
But the owners were flying their family and friends.
It
on
was
the
awful.
plane.
It was just awful.
Much like the owners' grandkids were surrounding Kevin
Right.
Stefanski at the time that our
Yeah.
season slipped away.
And-
when did our season slip away? I'll tell you when it slipped away.
The Jets
When we
game.
lost the onside kick to the Jets.
game.
Wow.
If you take the screenshot of Kevin Stefanski,
Yeah.
at the moment our season slipped away, he was surrounded on the field by the owner's grandkids.
And so I would tell you.
And that sounds like it's an Onion headline,
Mike,
but it's fact.
Mike, I was coming from great organizations, so I knew what they looked like.
Yeah.
Right. And I knew what you're supposed to feel like. And I knew once I was there, like, this is a sideshow. It's
not
not
it.
even for real. Right?
Right.
So why am I taking it for real?
Exactly.
Right?
It's-
I'm taking
that's
it
what it
like
is, though.
painful.
It's
like
leadership.
Losses, they like, man, dudes I was playing with like, oh well, let's we go to restaurant after the game.
Even
I'm
when
like,
you're up
oh, my
against
God.
it like that, even in that situation, shouldn't there be somebody within your organization who's able to keep people inspired by saying, look, we're an expansion team. This isn't going to happen overnight, but we've got to keep a good attitude. We got to stay. Here's the goal. Here's what we got. Here's where we got to get to. I know it seems rough now, but we've got was there anyone doing that?
No, because the people that were running the show, they were expansion people. They did not know what to know.
Right.
And that's
the
similar
problem.
to what's going on here.
Right.
Like I think at some point you stop the swim because the current is just too strong.
Right.
Yeah.
And at what point is that? It's probably different for every group, but it feels like this team has stopped the swim because the current working against it is just too strong.
And you hear me say this all the time. You need a real football man in here, somebody that really knows what's going on here, because they try to apply the principles from the business world that they've been successful in and say, I'm going to use these same principles
Right.
here. That's not how this works.
Right.
You have to be rooted in this. You need to know the knowledge of it.
Yeah,
and
it's
you
a
know
different
when
thing.
things change, you have to address them on the spot. I don't have 2 weeks to address them. Something needs to be addressed. It's got to be addressed right now.
I know, and we'll get to the next one. The point is, for me, you know when the season starts to be done is when the moment you're just looking to survive.
The day I went sailing.
That's a great autobiography title, by the way.
Takes me away.
You trying to not drown. You just trying to get minute by minute, day by day, survival, and you're done if you're just trying to survive.
So Stefanski has just completely lost them then. Like, he can't inspire them. He can't keep them together. He can't say we've
The
got
proof is in the pudding. I mean,
said
it
that
looks
weeks
that
ago.
way,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
So,
We'll
but
find
that's
out.
the-
Well,
that's
we'll
the
find out
it looked that
Sunday.
way for 1 week. 2 weeks ago, it didn't look that way.
No, it's looked like that way.
No.
It's looked that way
No,
all
all
year to me,
season.
Bull.
All season.
G. Bush, your headline's
no,
up
it
next.
hasn't. Come on.
And this headline
They're 3
probably
and 6.
changed.
I just really do want to ask, Bull, do you disagree? Do you think that he has not lost the locker room?
No, I don't.
You don't? Okay. Do you
No,
want to
they're playing
expand?
terribly, and he deserves criticism. and Joe Woods and the special teams coach need to go. But I don't think he's lost the locker room. No, none of us know that. I mean, there's no way. I don't know for
that.
sure one way
I'm
or the
asking.
other.
No, and I don't either.
think
I'm
so.
just saying what my eyes tell
I
me.
don't think so.
What my eyes tell me is they're not playing hard.
So, Adam, your eyes don't.
Did they not play hard 2 weeks ago against Cincinnati? They played a great game.
Your eyes don't show you the lack of effort that's being pursued out here, the nonchalantness that's going on here. You don't see that? Because I see it. I see it clearly.
I see it occasionally on the defensive side. I haven't seen it at all on the offensive side. I think whenever a team is playing poorly, and I think it's the case for every team playing poorly right now in the NFL, we're just not watching them as closely, that you're going to occasionally see moments like that. And it seems that way to us. Maybe they're not playing hard at times. Maybe they are. I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't think that – I mean, they've played 2 terrible games, right? Terrible, against New England and against Miami last week. So there are moments in those games where you're like, wow, they really look like they've quit at the end. But I don't know if that's reality or just our perception because they're playing so poorly.
I guess the thing that tips me over the end is this here, and this is the telltale sign as a person who's been there. When you have an off period, it's like a downtime, right? You have time because the thing that you can't get during the season is prep time. There's no preparation time because
treadmill's always running.
You're always running. When I get time to prepare, I know my opponent. I've got weeks. That means I have time to ramp up here for my next people, right? My next opponent. When I saw last week the lack of energy.
Off the bye week.
The lack of preparation. The lack of accountability. Everything that was situated in this game here. Yeah. That's a problem. It's at the core. It's not on the fringes.
But they won the last 2 years off the bye, so they're 2-1 off the bye in 3 years.
I'm living not in 2 years.
Every year.
Okay, so we're going to judge it based on one game?
Where
I
I
don't
am
know.
today. Where I am today.
All right.
This is what I saw on this past Sunday.
Yeah.
Right?
It's the most recent body work. You know how it is.
I don't care how you slice it. It's a problem.
And Bull, I know what you're saying about the Bengals game. I think that's what makes it even more frustrating because when you watch the Browns-Bengals in a vacuum, and that's all you watch, and you didn't know anything else about how the rest of the season unfolded, you would say the same thing you would have said last year if you watched the Browns-Bengals game. Oh, this is a playoff team. This is a really good football team. That's why it's so frustrating that we can see that against one opponent, but we don't see that against everybody else.
I get it, and there's fair criticism of Stefanski. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it's absolutely fair, and if ultimately the Browns decide to fire him, I will get it. I just think down deep, I believe that if given the opportunity with an actual good quarterback for the first time and not having to make up for the deficiencies of subpar quarterbacks that he's had for 3 years, I think Kevin Stefanski with a bet. Now, he's done a bad job. If it's up to him, if he's allowed to fire his own defensive coordinator, it's not always the case, but if he is, and he hasn't fired him, that's on him, and that's a major failure. He needs to make significant changes to the coaching staff. I don't think there's any doubt about it. But what I would say is that I think there's enough there on the offensive side. I think the offense has generally overachieved under his reign, and I've seen enough on the offensive side that I would give him one opportunity next year with Deshaun Watson and hopefully a better DC to prove he is the right guy. Because I just don't have a lot of faith that Jimmy Haslam, if he fires him, is going to find the right guy anyway. So I might as well give a guy that I at least think has a chance to be the right guy. I'm not saying for sure he is. I think he can be. That I'd rather give him one shot with a good quarterback and hopefully a better DC. And if it doesn't work, then so be it.
I agree with you.
I'm with you on that, Bull. What's your headline, G?
This turned out to be something that was crazy. No snow day for the Browns. Allen and the Bills take the Browns to school, 37-12. Now here's the point. I was assuming that they were going to play outside, and they were still going to smoke them 37-12. But now that the snow day has been called off, the recess is not on the playground, it's in the gym, and now everybody is in room temperature levels. This game and this whole reading right there, that's just too perfect. And you know how it be when you're in a school day, right? You see, you're a mayor. You part of that thought process.
That's pretty slick.
So the thought process is when you be having it be snowing the night before, you start reading. Listen, WKYC Doppler 3 radar says that this is going to be lake effect snow, 8 inches. As a child, you're like, ooh, that's cold because I didn't do my homework. I didn't do that. I'm not going to turn that in. I hopefully got this snow day. So what you do is you be in the bed with the covers up.
The pajamas inside out.
And you be looking around. You know that alarm that went off. You looking upside. It's light outside. And you like, ooh, mom and dad ain't came in here yet. You go back to sleep. You wake up. It's about 9:15. Yes! Yes, the snow day is in full effect. You good to go. You ain't on punishment. You downstairs on that Nintendo all day.
It's like I'm there.
And look, until your mom says, hey, boy, you know what it is. You got some chores to do.
It was a delay.
What are you doing? It's the delay.
It's a delay.
The Browns, you didn't get any of that. You thought you weren't going to see Josh Allen. He's out there in full splendor, throwing the football, 400 yards. They got Stephon Diggs is feeling real good about himself.
Hold on. You think they thought they was going to get a cancellation?
Oh, that's what the child. They thought school was canceled, and you woke up and you was wrong. Your dad come here, get up, hurry up. We got to get ready to go, and go brush your teeth too.
The NFL.
Dang it!
NFL
Did you do your homework?
I'm downstairs early. Like, let me see if I can get this little A B C A D D C.
Look, the commissioner called. We have a test given on Sunday.
It's a pop quiz, and we're moving it to Detroit.
Oh, no.
That's devastating. I didn't read none of them chapters. I didn't read the Grapes of Wrath or the Gatsby.
I was relying on the climate.
Polk, you're up next. You ready?
Yeah, let's remind me. I usually write the headline and then think backwards. Alan Wrench's win from Cleveland. You guys get it?
Alan Wrench. I got it. I saw you play on words.
Browns-Felter in fourth. I think this could be competitive, just to be annoying.
close.
I do. I think it could be competitive. I think we might do our thing where we trick ourselves. We have been scoring early
Mikey.
a lot. I know.
Mike, is it worth $800 to go to the MGM?
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
No, you can't be doing that. You can't. No, but if you look at like a nice Airbnb or something like that. Get on there, fish around. You never know. Somebody might be going away for the weekend.
Someone might not know that the game's been moved to Detroit.
Exactly.
That has an
Might get a
Airbnb.
discount on 8 Mile.
Right. So I think it's going to be one of those. It could be one of those games where they hang in there through the third quarter, and then in the fourth they just blow it like usual. That's what I'm seeing.
All right. Brad, what's your headline?
Trailer spots.
Get a discount on 8 Mile.
Don't you buy get
Come on, let's go.
by somebody named
Let's
Cinnamon.
go. Here. How about this, though? Buffalo is home on the range.
Yeah.
Buffalo's range. You get it?
Yes, I do.
Home on the range.
And he did play at Wyoming.
Yeah. Look, Allen and Diggs lead the Stampede over the Browns.
That's
pretty
the
good.
Browns.
Though they're
pretty
no
good.
longer home on the range, technically.
Yeah.
They're playing in Detroit.
Right.
So not very
Home is where
apropos.
you lay your hat.
That's true.
And Buffaloes do graze. They travel.
You know, they've revamped a lot of 8 Mile, and it's actually quite nice. They've like kind of grossly gentrified much of it. Some of it's
Have
quite
they really?
pretty. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they did a nice job.
Yep.
You know, you can look around, go down and stand new. I'm not paying no $800 at the MGM.
No. We're not doing that.
Did Bull start us off with his
No,
headline? Or we haven't seen
Bulls
his
up,
yet?
and then Steve Current actually has a headline.
Oh,
Director Steve.
This dude
For a second, I thought you said Steve Kerr has a headline, and I'm
Hey,
like,
Steve.
Steve Kerr's on the show?
Steve, let me find out that you're doing the true and false too. I bet I see you on that doorbell alarm. You out there with the whitey board talking about true. You do know you can't play
He'd
by
have
yourself.
the same chance of winning as any of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
all right.
We got Bulls
Let's
first,
go,
though.
Bull.
All right, by the way, look at the sub-headlines, which we haven't mentioned. McNuggets is almost Tyvis level cocky right now with McNuggets as Superman. What?
No, well, you
Anthony
missed it.
wrote that.
DeQuell texted
I
me
was
yesterday. And
I was here for the reference yesterday, but he said you look like Clark Kent, not like Superman, pal. Let's
What's
take
the
it
same
down a
thing?
notch.
Earl turns
No, it's
91
not.
this week.
Is Earl the oldest,
Earl
the
turns
youngest
97,
Earl
I
in
think.
America?
Does that say?
That's a good
That's
question.
what we I don't think there's a.
Oh, you mean because he's got an old name, but he's a young cat?
Yeah.
Dude, he sound like his
That is
wife
an old
was,
name.
his wife's name would be Geraldine. Earl
Earl
and
and
Geraldine
we
Maldine.
request your presence.
This is our daughter, Dorothy.
Oh my God! And they lead the pancake
You know what? Though,
breakfast.
we're laughing, but maybe he's named after his father.
He
you
is.
know.
It's a family
is.
name. His
Okay, so that's good. That's
his
cool,
grandpa
man. Carry it on,
tweeted
bro.
at us. But I do think Earl at 35, he turned 35 this week, might be the youngest Earl. in
First of all,
America.
he looks 25.
he does look 25. Yes.
He's the last Earl too.
Is he the
think he's
final
the last
Earl in the
It was
country?
him, and it was him and what's the dude play for the
Earl Boykins.
Earl the Pearl.
Yeah, Earl Boykins and then Earl Thomas. That's the only one they struck it for the records. No more.
Earl is no longer a thing.
No more.
Bull, I can't wait to see your headline now. Bull, would you like a redo
Yes.
now that you know it's in Detroit, or are you going to stand by this one?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Let's bring it up.
It
We got it
works.
up. Heartbreak again. Josh Allen's late touchdown leads Bills to win. I, unlike the rest of you guys, think the Browns are going to play a good game and stay in the game. Unfortunately,
Well, Mike
like the
does
rest of you
too.
guys, I do
Yeah.
think ultimately they're going to lose.
Yeah.
But I think the Browns are going to play a game, and then we'll, whatever, we'll find something to rip them for when they lose. But, and all that matters is winning in the end. But I have a feeling this game is going to be now that it's indoors, it's going to be a high-scoring slugfest. The offense will play well for the Browns. The defense, as it has for almost every game this year, will be awful. And the Bills will pull it out in the slugfest. I think it's going to be like the Chargers game a little bit, except even higher scoring.
See, Bull, damn you, and here's why. Because I always say that I'm no longer falling into the quicksand trap of our cycle of week. Like Sunday, we hate the Browns at 4 o'clock. Monday, we still hate them and we're seething mad.
Right.
Tuesday, we're still trying to figure out the answers as to why. Wednesday, we're looking at the opponent saying, yeah, they're pretty good. Thursday, we're looking at the opponent saying they're good, but they do have weaknesses.
Yep.
Friday, we're looking at the whole matchup by saying, ooh, they just lost their starting linebacker, and we got Njoku back. Saturday, we're like, I don't know. I don't think we can do it. Sunday at 1, we're like, I think we got this.
Yep.
That's accurate completely.
And so now, as we're getting closer to kickoff, here's what scares me about this. Every time in UCSS history, I looked this up this morning, every time in UCSS history that we've all agreed that one thing is going to happen,
Never does.
the opposite happened.
No,
Well, but you guys all think
picking
it's going to be
them to lose.
you guys are all thinking it's going to be like an ass kicking, and I think it's going to be a good game.
Well,
that they
ultimately, we
fall
all
short,
are
so.
picking the same thing. L.
True.
Well, you don't know what Steve
True.
Kern's picking yet.
Oh,
Steve,
yeah, that's
save
true.
me.
Steve, I will read it for Steve. BW3 Buffalo Wild wins. The Browns run out of sauce and off.
Oh, you've been saving that, dog.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, you've been saving that. You looked at that schedule. I got these
Buffalo Wild wins.
son of a buckskin rug.
Way to go, Steve.
I picture him like working out in his office at night. And his wife's like, come to bed, Steve. He's like, I've almost got it. It's almost perfect.
I'll be there in a second.
Got this Buffalo Wild Wings sauce.
Can we show a picture of Steve? Because we're talking about his headline.
You've
We
been
haven't seen
working
it
on
yet.
that. There he is.
Steve is the
Steve-O.
man behind the
Look at
buttons.
Steve. There he
He
is.
is our esteemed director who has 477 Emmys. He retired from
He
Channel
wears one around
5.
his
He
neck.
was looking for something to do. This show popped up. He's not a sports fan, although he's becoming one. He tells me often, I'm really starting to learn more and more about
Yeah,
sports.
we're
'cause
waterboarding
he's
him with
captive.
it. We're waterboarding him with
He's
it.
captive 2 hours a day. He has no choice.
He just on stereotypes alone, as a brother coming across Steve, you're like, oh, he watches him. He listens to NPR. He still uses the laundry chute.
That's funny. That's funny. Hey, that's funny.
Steve, by nodding your head, yes or no, do you have a laundry chute?
Oh, no.
Hey, I'm just saying, he longs for the days when milk was delivered.
Man, kids don't even know what you're talking about when you talk about laundry shit.
Hey, Steve, I've got a question for you. I've been meaning to ask you this for a long time.
The
If we
milk
could get a shot of
slide.
Steve.
Yeah.
So Steve is the nicest person you'll ever meet in the world. He's
Ever.
just
Oh,
such
my
a great
God.
guy. We're so lucky to have him. But you're admittedly not a huge sports fan. But you've told me a time or two, your conversations are interesting, and I find myself really paying attention, and I'm starting to learn a lot about sports. If you can, tell us, of the panelists, of the regular panelists that sit here,
Oh, Lord.
whose sensibilities most do you now sort of assign your
I
beliefs
identify with. Who do you
to?
identify
Who
with?
do you most identify? Are you a Bull? Are you a Jay? Are you a Brad? Are you a G. Bush? Are you a
tough.
Polk?
That's tough.
Who are you?
Wow.
That's tough.
That's
a lot of pressure.
With, Tyvis.
Thank you, Steve. Well said, Steve.
Steve has a do-rag in his repertoire.
Just saying, look.
What's up?
Just saying.
What's up, Pac? I didn't know you was still
Listen.
around.
Who called
I
for
By the
way,
shot
if
to be
Steve-
taken? Was that Steve?
Guys, if
Did you do
Steve
that on
show-
your own?
I got money on my mind right now. That's what this is
Thug
about.
life. I got you.
If Steve showed up with that do-rag with that exact same look one day, it would be the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
First of
Please
all,
do that someday, Steve.
First of all, Tyvis, you already know what I'm gonna say. If Earl was here, he'd be upset at you. You know good and well you can't have no side tie on your do-rag. You can't have.
This is how the kids is doing it.
Man.
All the kids is doing it this way right now.
That's a Princeton Revolution joint.
But you a grown ass man.
You gotta tie your stuff in the back, bro. he got it fun like he got some bangs.
Let me just
Thank you.
Hey, Tyvis has a headline too, real quick. So let's finish the clip with Tyvis' headline, then we'll get into the rest of the stuff with Tyvis. Tyvis, do you remember your headline?
Oh my God, John Travolta.
Oh, so we don't all agree.
See, he might have just blown the wind, though. If he would have gone with us, then if by your theory, Jay, we would have won the game. So by picking them to win, he just doomed the Browns.
He just doomed us, yes, because
Nice
now
job,
we
man.
don't all agree.
No, I didn't. Listen, y'all, the problem is this, okay? Y'all don't understand the kids nowadays, and I do, okay? Anytime the Browns' back is against the wall and it just look like things is over with, the season's over, they do something good. So how can they find a way to pull this fan base in? How can they bring everybody back? Win against Buffalo. Buffalo has a weakness in the run game right now. If they go out there and just lean on Nick Chubb,
so do we.
Man, we gonna be good, man.
It's the cycle. It's the weekly cycle.
Yep.
It's not a cycle. You stop with the cycle, Jay. You are you defeated. That's what it is. They gotta reel you back. I get it. I get it.
Beat down.
They gonna reel you back in on Sunday, and you know what? About 4 o'clock, I ain't even gonna say nothing. You can just text the group chat and be like, "Tyvis, you was right." I ain't even gonna respond. I just want you to know that they back, man. Myles Garrett, the heck.
See, I can't tell if this positivity is genuine or whether this is some sort of psychological crutch he's using. Is that what it is?
Oh, yeah, it is.
In order to help him get through this Brown season. Do you mean this? Are you being genuine, or or is this something that you've adapted in order to not want to hurt yourself?
You know what? I see the light. I see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Do you?
Listen, I spent my
standing
whole
live
life
for Taylor Swift tickets too. I see, probably.
Listen. I spent my whole life trying to find the light that's at the end of the tunnel, and I should have realized that it was inside. So that's what I'm doing.
Oh no! Okay, so he's in the cult. He's fully cult.
Yeah,
Scientology kind of stuff going on here.
He's starting to sound like Lake. What's her name? Carrie Lake.
Lake. Yeah.
She's just looking for votes. Which you like? They came in the middle of the night, ballot harvested all over.
I'm going to help count. I'm actually volunteering.
Y'all all the jump ship, and y'all just like, it is what it is. Y'all at that point. What is it? Week 10?
We're older than you. We have more
y'all
experience.
Just like, you know what? It's over with.
We've all seen it so many times. You're a young pup. I understand your enthusiasm, but you know what?
It's endearing.
I'm trying to see if he's being sarcastic or not. But his picture quality is 0.4K.
I think he has the
I don't know if he's real.
I think he has the resolution down intentionally to confound us. That's my theory.
It's this thing.
Can't tell.
What is it?
Because I got great internet. So
No.
anyway,
Here, let me tell you something. There's a saying, Tyvis: buy cheap, get cheated. That's your picture. Buy cheap, get cheated.
He's got that
I'm
Dollar
not
General
buying
internet.
I pay for some good internet. Hey, this is
You're getting ripped
yeah.
off.
Look, you see, listen, it's clear now.
Here, what company are you using?
I have
Acme?
to get back with you on that.
He signed up for it in the grocery store. They'd be like, "You want to switch over?"
This means his wife hates that.
Sam's Club
Listen,
gets you up, right?
Wait a minute. Before we go on, I'll be remiss if I don't do this. I want to take this time out to wish my lovely wife a happy birthday today. She is.
Your picture got better. Your picture got better.
Get her in here.
This picture got better.
Wait, we're about to see Mrs. Tyvis.
His wife said, if you don't shout me out.
To my lovely wife. You know what? She's like wine. She gets better with age.
There she is.
Hey, look at there. outkicked your coverage, Tyvis.
Tyvis.
You outkicked your coverage.
Hey, Tyvis, is she going to let you move, dog? She still going to let you move?
Oh, you talking about that?
Oh, yeah.
All-time UCSS moment. Right there.
Hey,
All-time. Absolutely.
Tyvis, you know the sound that was made when that thumb went down? Womp, womp.
It was the air leaving his body.
Hurt his soul. She was like, listen, you keep talking, I'm going to turn down this resolution. You're going to be
Tyvis, how are you? Tyvis,
The lieutenant has spoken.
how are you celebrating your lady fair on her birthday? How are you celebrating with her?
Oh, I'm doing it, Mike. I'm doing it in the greatest fashion ever.
Okay.
You know what I'm doing? I'm going to call a high school playoff game tonight.
Oh, nice. Which
The
one?
romance is still there.
Which
That's
one?
nice. That's great.
I told you he's a villain. Look at that. He just laughed. He's going to miss his life.
Wait a minute. Now, listen, you got to know how to make $1 quicker than you spend it because there's bills coming in every second, every minute.
Hear you.
Okay, so I gotta do. But then her girls is coming down. They all going out to eat. You know, I asked her, did she want me to do this? She said, Tyvis, go make that money. So it is what it is.
Are you
So,
at least taking her with you? Are you going to buy her some nachos or anything like that?
She's not going with me.
Oh, I see.
Wow.
She's not going with me. No, she ain't going to the game. She's not going to the game with me. Why would she do that?
Okay, I don't know.
Tyvis, I think you have a COVID cell on the wall behind you.
I actually like that, man. I got
Yeah,
one in
look
my house,
out.
too.
Be careful.
Hey,
What is the, listen, y'all got to be stopped. All
now,
you on this panel today
we'll
is
start
out
to
of
pick it
pocket.
apart. The clearer the
Y'all-
picture.
It looks like you got COVID on the wall.
I need the resolution to keep me invested. Y'all looking at the wrong page. Y'all focused on the wrong page right now.
Hey, Tyvis, you know, people will size you up from a distance. They always sizing you up.
Always.
What
looking
kind of
at your
doorknobs?
crib.
What kind of doorknobs? You got them hollow doors? They solid doors?
He must be doing all right.
What's going on here?
That looks
what kind of grade of carpet is that?
Oh, that's real oak. You can tell that's real oak. He's doing all right.
Yeah. Hey, listen, let me see them blinds.
I thought the blinds. What's up the blinds?
Let me.
Oh, those are nice.
I don't do. You come to my house, they be cracked up. There's duct tape.
Yeah,
on them.
those are perfect. This not
So,
even-
G-Bush, you and Bo are going to do an eating show. We should do a home decor show with Tyvis. I bet you that would pop off.
That eating show gonna jump.
The eating show is going to jump.
It's gonna jump, by the way.
no doubt.
And me and Tyvis,
It's unfortunate that y'all went the other way with it. It started off as a weight loss challenge. It turned into the weight.
Oh, man, it's flying everywhere today.
That was too hard.
Throwing daggers today. Digging deep.
The weight loss thing was too difficult, so we went with this instead.
He said, no.
Does Tyvis's laugh sound different today? It's like infectious more than usual.
Yeah.
No, it's always great.
Man, you know, we gonna win, man. You know, Tyvis, man.
Oh, man, somebody asked me something about the Buckeyes. Ask me.
I was waiting.
Hey, I just left College Park last weekend. What's up?
Listen, they got to come in there and handle business. Now, Talia, I ain't going to say he's Tua, but he actually can sling that pill, and they got a couple of wide receivers that can be dangerous.
Don't you sleep on them. Don't you sleep on them. I don't
want to hear Polk over there. I can see him I can't see him, but I can see him in his chair like, oh, here go Tyvis making up some baloney. But listen, they got some wide receivers out there that can make plays. And right defense, I think our secondary, particularly at the corner position, is the weakest link. So they got to come to play because this thing could turn into a shootout. You know, now that we don't have Mayan, he's out. Travion, I don't know what his status is going to be. We all the way down to the third string running back. So this thing might turn into a 7-on-7 out there.
Well, forget Maryland. I want to talk about Michigan.
You see, you jumping the gun. You jumping the gun.
I know I am, but Maryland's like a bye week. Come on, you know that.
I won't say that.
No, I know, but you know what's going to happen. Let me ask you about this because Maurice has made a point the last couple of weeks of saying this. The Buckeyes don't have the same nasty that Michigan has. Now, he's not saying they're going to lose because of that, but what he said is to win championships, you need that nasty element. He won a national championship. Does that scare you at all when you look at this Buckeye team play? He thinks they're too pretty. They're too soft. He doesn't see that dog streak in them, and he thinks that might be a problem against Michigan. What do you say to that?
I'm going to say something that I don't know if I'm qualified to say, and I don't want it to come off wrong. But G. Bush and Brad can relate to this, what I'm about to say.
Okay.
You know why they look like that?
No,
it's because it's too many light-skinned dudes on the team, and that's what it is. But now here's
the thing. Now see, this is what's great about this show.
Hey, what?
This is what's great about this show, right? He said it like people like, what? What is he? Did you have the paper bound syndrome? So you can say that, and a brother like me, my age, know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, usually, like if you got Drake, if you want to go to battle, do you want to go with Drake? Or do you want to go with Meek Mill? I'm going to go with Meek Mill. Drake is a little sentimental.
To be honest with you, I see what Maurice is saying when he says that, you know, I thought the same thing. But what I will say is that they do come to play. You know, when it's time after what happened last year, I think that they're going to have that mentality. They're going to have to at least have it for that game. And I was actually just talking to a Team Up North fan today when I was at the store, and he was saying the same thing. He was like, "Yeah, we nitty and gritty over here. We gonna just come out there and run the ball. Y'all can run the ball." I understand what you're saying, but something's gonna click. Like it's different. After what happened last year, to get embarrassed in the fashion that you did and lose in the fashion that you did, you got to change that. And I don't care if I was there. I don't care if I have no chance of playing. Like if I was hurt. And they said, Tyvis, your chances of playing this game is 2%. As long as I got a heartbeat and a pulse, I'm getting out on that field because I'm making something happen. And they got to have that same mentality.
Well, I hope so.
And it's a home game. So I think that they're going to come to play. I think mindsets is going to change. I think they can be that nasty team because I know who their strength coach is, and I know he's going to demand that out of them. And I know who their head coach is. He's going to demand that out of them as well. So I think the game is going to be a lot better than what people think.
Well, I hope so, because they out-physicaled Ohio State last year, and that seemed, when you're doing something and it changes the results and it works, you do that again. And I know they're going to come to Columbus with their brass knuckles on. Ty, we got to let you go, but thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it, and I love that piece of art behind you. I'm just playing, man.
Hey,
happy birthday to your wife.
After the Browns win, I'm gonna bring it to you and put it up.
Just
in
make
your
sure
man.
you spray it. Make sure you spray it with the disinfectant first.
Y'all gotta cut this out. Bye. I'm done with y'all. Bye.
Peace. See you, Ty. Love you, Ty.
All right, guys, it's time for What the Internet Says, and we're going to do it a little different today. But before we get to that, we got to tell you who is sponsoring the segment, and that's our best friends in the world over at PCC Airfoils. Looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits? PCC Airfoils is the leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils in Eastlake, Mentor, Wycliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up, plus full benefit packages, paid time off, and a signing bonus. You can apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. I have one note, then we're going to toss over to Polk for his segment. But according to Mary Kay Cabot, Greg Newsome got in a collision with a teammate, is being evaluated for a concussion. He is now questionable for Sunday's game against the Bills. Polk, take it away.
All right, this is a segment called Know Thy Enemy, in which I tell you some things to hype you up to get angry about Buffalo. Oh, nice. Nice graphic, guys.
Thanks.
To get you ready to get furious.
That elf looks like he's about ready to get steamboated.
It does. We could have put him in the other direction. It would have made it look better, I think.
That elf is like, bring what you got, Mr.
That's
Buffalo.
a little too true to form. Okay, good. The music started. All right, here's some things you need to know, guys. You can go back to me now, guys. Did you know that Buffalo is the hub of the country's debt collection industry?
Oh,
that's true.
wow.
All the debt collection stuff you get comes from there.
You had a debt collector call you live on TV once, did you?
Yes, because debt collectors continue to open in Buffalo because of the cheap office space and no statewide licensing requirement for debt collectors, right? When you're in New York. So boo to you, Buffalo.
Yeah, we hate Buffalo even more now.
I'm thinking about running for political office,
Good.
so I don't got no more debt collectors calling me. I'm free and clear, baby.
Boom. That's all you got to say. And he's out. Inventions from Cleveland, lifesavers, the gas mask. Inventions from Buffalo, instant coffee.
Oh.
And the electric chair. True.
Ooh.
A dentist named Alfred Southwick invented the electric chair. So nice job, Buffalo. 3.
That's crazy.
Think about how sad this is. Play the track 6 more times. Think about how sad this is.
Loop that boy.
Thanks. 3 football teams in New York. 2 of them play at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. Only 1 team plays in New York, and they don't even get to call themselves New York. That's how disrespected you are, Buffalo.
That is true.
Think about that.
That's pretty funny.
Number 4. Due to state laws, a fine of $25 can be issued for flirting in public in Buffalo streets.
What?
What is this, the town from Footloose?
Is that true?
I'm sure it's one of those.
Read that again.
Due to state laws, a fine of $25 can be issued for flirting in public on the streets in Buffalo. I'm sure it's one of those old, antiquated laws that no one
They just
enforces.
never struck it
that
down.
never struck it down. But still, Buffalo!
Why
Hey.
did I get pulled over, officer? You were clearly flirting.
Exactly. Shouldn't have blown that kiss at a lady. We got 2 presidents that came from Buffalo. You want to know who they were? Millard Fillmore, who is widely considered to be one of the worst presidents in American history.
Clearly.
Yeah. Decided to enforce the Fugitive Slave Act. Nice job, Millard. Okay. And Grover Cleveland, who messed up our presidential count by being the only president. Play the track again. The only president to serve 2 terms but non-consecutive.
Right.
So what is he? Is he the 22nd president? Is he the 24th president? When people ask how many presidents we have no idea because we don't know whether to count him twice or not. Thanks a lot, Buffalo.
What is the real answer? Is he considered the 22nd and 24th?
Yes, he's considered the 22nd and the 24th. So when we say how many presidents have there been, though, the argument is have there been 46
Well,
or
the answer would
45.
be 45 because he was president
Hey,
twice.
don't tell me. Tell Buffalo.
Wow.
6. The Peace Bridge connects Canada to America and has been in Buffalo since 1927. Way to allow Canada the perfect way to attack if they want to, Buffalo. Why don't you just leave the door open and ring a dinner bell? In fact, during the War of 1812, the British torched all but 3 buildings in Buffalo. Well, you deserve that. You should not have that bridge.
Open borders.
Thank you.
Open border policies.
Burn it down.
Almost through these guys. Buffalo started the turkey trot. It is the longest continuously running foot race in America. You're the reason that we've had to, like, our girlfriends have made us get up on Thanksgiving morning sometimes, like in the past. I mean, I don't do this anymore, obviously. But have to get up and do that, a turkey trot for some dumb charity or something like that. Thanks a lot, Buffalo. Number 9, biggest celebrities from Cleveland: Paul Newman, Bob Hope, Halle Berry. Biggest celebrities from Buffalo: Rob Gronkowski, Rick James, and John Wayne Bobbitt, the guy who got his dong cut off.
Ricardo.
Hey, Rick James was
But Super
fire.
Freak's in there too, so.
Yeah, that's a pretty good song.
Yeah, you should have found someone other than Rick James.
I know. Didn't he like murder someone though, or did I make that up?
No, you made that up.
Okay,
Yeah, he
never
just
mind.
did drugs and slept with a
I
lot of women.
apologize. Rick James is still
And
rocks.
Super Freak's one of the all-time greatest.
Bands from Cleveland: Bone Thugs,
Yeah.
the Raspberries. Bands from Buffalo: the Goo Goo Dolls. Oh.
Oh no.
And Cannibal Corpse. Might be familiar with them or their songs: Hammer Smash Face, Meat Hook Sodomy, Frantic Disembowelment, Devoured by Vermin. Nice job.
Can't
Buffalo.
believe they didn't go mainstream.
Finally, number 11. Biggest movie ever filmed here: Captain America: Winter Soldier. Biggest movie ever filmed there: Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Out of the Shadows.
Wow.
Wait, one more.
I do hate Buffalo even more.
Chicken wings. One more thing. Chicken wings. Home, birthplace of chicken wings.
Buffalo.
Harbor Inn.
Yeah.
Used to be a very cheap treat that we had. We all got hooked on buffalo wings because of what you did. And now look how expensive chicken wings are. Take the graphic. I want to show you that. Did you do it? Do we have it?
Take what graphic?
Oh, never mind. Anyways,
Buffalo wings,
it's
the price of
okay.
Buffalo wings?
It's now at Quaker Steak and Lube. It's okay. For a 20 pack of wings, it's $29.99.
That's insane.
A what?
$29.99.
They didn't gouge
for a
the. They didn't
20
price
pack.
gouge the wings.
Oh,
so
that's
tough.
fine. That'll work.
Are you serious?
I'm sorry, I thought I sent that. Yes, that's how expensive wings are now. So Buffalo got us hooked on wings on 10-cent wing night in the early 1990s. And now that we're all crack addicts for wings, if I want to get them, I've got to like mortgage my house. Thanks a
$1
lot,
for
Buffalo.
A little bite of chicken now.
Yeah.
Hey,
And by the way, boneless. You can kill the music. That's why you should all hate Buffalo. And boneless chicken wings are not chicken wings.
we failed to mention, the biggest group out of Buffalo in some time. Shout out to Griselda, West Side Gun, Benny the Butcher, and Conway the Machine.
That was. I'm I feel so ignorant for not bringing that up, and I'm glad you called me out.
It was a big oversight on your part.
It was. I had it actually written down.
Well,
I meant to bring it up.
Just decided not to go with that one.
I decided. I forgot. Totally spaced.
You know, I have a hard time hating Buffalo. And
So
here's
do I.
why.
They're a
They're
great
our
city.
cousins.
They're
They're
like
like
our
our
cousins.
Rust Bucket cousins.
I know. This
And
will
their
be,
fan base is very similar to our fan base.
Yep.
You bring up a great topic because there are these little pockets of communities we identify with. So we have no ill will for the Buffalo Bills, no ill will for the Packers.
Yep.
I don't even hate the Lions.
They're my
Lions,
Buffalo's my
nothing.
But I hate the Steelers.
Buffalo's my second favorite team, always has been.
Yeah.
And when I was in Youngstown as a kid, and when we would be blacked out of the Browns games, you couldn't watch them. We would drive up to Buffalo. It was like a real easy drive.
Yeah.
So we would just drive up there and watch
There's
games.
a big Steelers fan base in Youngstown. Is there a Bills fan base there?
There's a little Bills fan base, but way more Pittsburgh.
Way
Youngstown's super Pittsburgh.
Right.
There's a lot of neutral teams. Like, I mean, can you say you hate the Colts?
No.
No, they're just
The Colts.
just
man.
ambivalent. You just like
You don't.
Yeah.
No one seems to have too much. I don't hate the Bears. Like,
No.
I don't hate those. Like teams that have the same amount of weather. Just
Yeah.
just see
that Midwest
Yeah.
grunge,
It is.
grunge kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you're right. We're both super small markets.
Yeah.
Like look down upon
Underdogs.
cities.
Yeah.
Probably seen better days. You know.
Yeah.
We're steel cities, and now trying to like still hang in there. a little bit.
I don't even hate the Chiefs. Like, because the Chiefs were that team. They played forever. They had a nice home field advantage. Derek Thomas, some of those guys. Steve DeBerg. Random dudes like Christian Okoye, they never won,
Right.
but then they just kind of got good, and I could see why people
Well, they were
hate them
good
now.
once upon a time
Yeah.
in the beginning of the league,
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
So we got overtime coming up in a sec. We're going to talk about why the Browns didn't go after Ndamukong Suh, why he didn't sign with the Browns. I know it's been something we've debated on the show a couple times. We got a hard 1 o'clock out, and Brad has a final take he wants to get to. So let's start final takes with Brad. We got your picture when you're ready.
All right, so here, let me wrap on this day before we go into the holiday next week. I want to say this, that stay with us on this overtime because we don't really get into this Ndamukong Suh thing because this has been bothering many of us on this panel for a while now because we all want, believe me, we all want the Browns to be successful. I don't think we embellish with everything that anybody in this city wants. We want to see that team get to a Super Bowl, and we want them to fulfill what we feel is our ultimate right and destiny to be in that game like everyone else. So we'll get to that. But I want to just say this real quick. Yesterday, I want to give a big shout out to Darius Garland and his team and the Cleveland Cavaliers and Warrensville City Schools. Darius Garland was in Warrensville yesterday, and we know we're going to a tough time of the year, the holiday season. He provided 300 turkeys and fixings, bags of food for people yesterday. And now they're just coming off a road trip, flew in, did his thing, unannounced, called him, said, listen, we're going to do this thing.
Nice.
Here, we'll do this thing on Thursday. So go to the picture, Mikey. So, and it's funny, right? So this is Darius Garland's father. For those who are NBA guys, Winston Garland. So that's Winston Garland and I we played against one another for years. And so we were there yesterday, and you see the bags of food being lined up yesterday, but Darius is in the background giving this food out. That's cool. And I always say this, and this is a shout out to Winston, the apple does not fall far from the tree. Winston Garland was a competitor and a good guy. And so if you talk to Darius, you'll see that Darius is a good guy. And also when I see the two together, it's like, it's like a little clone of you, right? And so, I know the Cavs are going through a rougher spot now, but Darius is learning from his father, and I'm always providing comfort in that because his father knows the drill. It's all going to work out here, right? His son and Donovan Mitchell are going to work out, figure out how to work together and make this team better. So there are only good things here going forward for the Cavaliers, but I want to say this. It is all a part of doing good work in the community. And listen, Darius Garland, unannounced, unprovoked, unprodded, let me drop 300 families a chance here, right, in the area.
Love to see it.
So shout out to Darius Garland and his crew for making that happen.
That's how you make a difference.
Yeah.
And what I love most about that was it wasn't some PR firm that cooked this up and put out press releases everywhere. I didn't know this was going on at Channel 3.
Right.
I would have loved to have known, so we could have gone out and covered that. That's a feel-good story that we love to tell. But he didn't do it for that. He did it for all the right reasons.
All the right reasons.
He did it because there are 300 families that needed a turkey.
Right.
You still could have tipped us off, though, so we could have gone and covered that.
Mike telling his OG, no.
That's
Next
like
time.
a softball story. I
just said that's the type of person that's in that locker room.
Yeah, it's great.
That's why that team is successful.
I love to hear it.
Right.
And
So some of the other organizations in this town should look at the type of people like that inside this locker room.
Winners.
In their locker room.
Absolutely. Brad, thanks for that. That was nice. Is Bull still with us?
No, Bull's resting for the weekend. He's taking off the Sunday
will he be
show.
back Monday? Do we know? We
The
hope?
goal is to be back Monday. He's not talking the whole weekend.
Okay, good.
Well, he says he's not talking.
Yeah,
the
that's a
weekend.
lie.
We'll see what
That's a
happens.
lie.
But he's taking off the 2-minute warning show. He will not be with us on Sunday.
Very
I'm
good.
not
Bull-
drinking the whole weekend.
G.
I
Bush,
am
myself,
drinking
and
the
Jeff
whole
will be
weekend. Who am
still
I
be doing
kidding?
a show.
Yes.
Polk will be staying sober. Brad's going to be getting buckets. Jay, what are you doing this weekend?
I've got a long list of things I got to help my mother with. I haven't been to see my mom in Sandusky in over a month.
Oh, you got to get home.
Got a lot of light bulbs to change.
I got a lot of.
Time to go.
Yeah, I got to go.
They keep a list.
Be the good son.
They keep
Time
a
to go.
list.
Yeah, she does. She's got a honeydew list for me.
Time to go.
Yep.
We
I
understand.
hope everybody has a great weekend. My fervent hope is that the Browns are 4-6 when we meet again next Monday.
You sound like a deflating balloon while you're
Yeah,
saying
I know. I'm beat down, and maybe I should be more like Tyvis and less like me right now. But enjoy the weekend. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your friends. Enjoy the football game. We're on a 70-hour break. We're going to do our overtime segment, which is for members only. If you're not a member, join the club. It's $1.99 a month, and you get great
It's off the
content.
leash, yo. It is off the leash.
Because we're trying to get into this Indomitian Sue thing. This,
Yeah, we're about to dig into that.
Yeah.
So we got some hot takes on that. If you want to catch them, hurry up and join. Again, $1.99 a month. It's easy to do. Go to the YouTube channel and you can figure out how to get that done.
Tell the
Anytime, we'll
MGM
see you Monday.
Tell the MGM to quit gouging people.
It's too hot.
wing prices